Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining another episode of Drinks and Discussions alongside our host, Megan, Marcus, Trey. I am Brian, and we are going to be with you for another night of intellectual conversation, great drinks, and maybe some tomfoolery as we go along. I've got a new movie that I had watched over the past week that was recommended by one of our viewers. I wanted to share that with you. There's a lot to discuss. I want to say hello to everyone. Again, thank you for watching Drinks and Discussions, and we'll see you soon as I clear this intro stuff out of the way. Hello, everyone. Can you guys see us or see me? I hope you guys can hear me. Can you guys hear me? I see Liz is here. See Alan's here. Megan's outside. Hello, Megan. Hope it's not too hot where you are. I can't hear you, Megan. That might be my problem. Hold on.
No, I was muted.
Oh, okay. How
No,
are you?
actually, it's just starting to feel a little like spring after 53 degrees is what it maxed out at yesterday.
Spring? Jesus Christ, it's like 105 degrees here.
No, not Northwest.
Rub it in, why don't you? Rub it in. I know Marcus had to work a little late, so Marcus is going to be joining us late. Trey is just a jackass, and he comes and goes whenever he wants and never has any respect for anybody else's time. So I'm going to give it to him right now while he is not here. Also, I believe Jake was going to join us as well. Oh, I see Vegas Valley Audits is in the chat. Hello, sir. Joey, we appreciate Joe. We appreciate you watching as well. Appreciate that. We got a lot to talk about. I thought Nick was going to join us too because he wanted to bring on some sports stuff. I had something to tell you also. There is, my wife bought me something. It was kind of like a pre-Father's Day gift for me. And as I'm trying to get back into shape, what she bought me, I'll discuss it later, but what she got me made me realize I got a long way to go. I mean, I thought I was in pretty decent shape, and I can't wait till Marcus gets on here because I want to know what Marcus seems to think about all this because man, I felt like I got a whooping today when I was working out. It was beat my ass. So before we go any further, Megan, do you have drink today? I know you're outside. Probably, are you smoking out there, or do you want to wait to get the drinks on? Because I have a story behind my drink as well.
I'll probably drink on the way back in. But as usual, I'll be drinking champagne.
Hey, Thumper. By the
Yeah.
way, just real quick, Thumper. The Thumper. Listen, I know Vegas Valley is on. He does his thing. We don't do any of that here. If he wants to talk in the chat or whatever, Joe, we do Discord, so we don't use StreamYards or anything like that. So we don't put links or anything like that in our chat. I'm not sure if you have Discord or not, but we stay in our lane over here. We don't talk about frauditors. We don't talk about auditors. We don't talk about anything like that. So it might be a little boring. It might be a little cheesy for most people, but it's our happy spot place. So, we appreciate you joining in. And hey, Freedom Fighter, good to see you, buddy. But again, we just sit in here and we just talk about stuff. See, Alan, by the way, you're going to be happy to hear that I chose the movie that you suggested, and I will be talking about that toward the end as well. So hopefully you stick around for that, for my take on that movie. 99 VMix. We used to use VMix way back in the day when we first started. When we were doing more sports talk, I used to do VMix. But I couldn't figure out how to do all the graphics and stuff that we have here. As you see, I'm trying to do a little bit more with the graphics. I'm still a novice at this stuff, but it's a work in progress. hopefully, guys, you guys like the the fantastic aesthetics that I bring to the table on Drinks and Discussions. Hopefully, Megan is going into the. Um, is it? I think Megan's going inside to actually start her drinks. Yum, we don't do the insults here. We appreciate you joining, but that's just a waste of energy and breath on your own part if you're going to come in and try to do the insults. Because again, we don't
Brian.
participate in all that. What'd you say, Megan?
Yeah, I'm gonna grab my drink, grab my dinner, and I'll be in front of my computer.
Absolutely. Okay, take your time. You know, I don't mind talking to myself. I enjoy my own company. um, hey, Liz. Good to see you. You're back as well. We appreciate you. What are you guys doing? Since while we're waiting on everybody else to join the stream, you guys are in the. Oh, I'm not trying to make any say that was causing any trouble with you, Yum, at all. I don't know if you guys are cordial or not. I just want to make sure that we weren't going to bring any drama onto in the chats here. But while you guys we're waiting on the other people on the stream, what are you guys drinking out there in the chat? I'm watching the chat. Tell me what you guys are sipping on. If I've had it, I'll give you a little bit of a synopsis on it. Hey, Big Jake, come on in, man. You should be able to. You should have the link already, Jake. Just join the same channel as you were on last week, and you should pop right on in. Yeah, what are you guys drinking out there? Even if it's water. Marcus is not a big drinker, so he'll be drinking a cool, refreshing beverage. Fireball. I got a story for you guys about Fireball this past weekend. We were golfing, and it was hot as heck, as Hades. And we play with two groups of four, and the group in front of us was playing, and I think it was hole number 12. We get to the tee box, and they bought everybody some Fireball shots, which were the little small Fireball things. And I do not like Fireball, but when somebody's buying you a Fireball or whatever it is, you gotta drink it, right? So I drank it, but all I had was water to chase it down. And then when the beverage cart came back around, I had to definitely try to grab a couple of beers to wash that down. I am not a big fan of Fireball. Lemon iced tea is a cool, refreshing beverage there, Liz. That's nothing, no more problem with that. See, Alan, I actually have been drinking a lot of water now too, since I've been trying to hit the gym and hit the weights and work out. I've been trying to kind of keep myself hydrated, but I still at the end of the day I gotta have something a little bit stronger and it's more stout. Who else said something about what they're drinking as we welcome in Big Jake? Buddy, what's up, man?
What's up, Brian?
What's up, dude? We're talking about some drinks that we're waiting on everybody to join. We're talking about what the people in the chat are drinking on as they are watching. Thumper, vodka. Yes, man. I've got I don't know if you've ever heard of this. Hang on a second. So Tower Vodka is brewed right here in Texas. And I don't know if you can see that. I don't know if you can see that. There it is. Tower Vodka. And it is by far, if you're like Tito's Vodka, I think it's better than Tito's Vodka.
Never was a vodka fan, but there are some good ones out there.
Yeah.
It just depends on where you get them from.
Roman, yeah, the Fireball is that cinnamon whiskey. And hello, Roman and Rufio. Good to see you, buddy. Appreciate you guys joining in. Rufio.
Have you ever seen the movie Hook with what's Dustin Hoffman and
yes,
Robin Williams?
The Peter Pan.
Yeah, the character from the Lost Boys. His name's Rufio.
Hey, Bart, ice cold Colt 45. Nothing wrong with that, brother. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Monster Energy drink. Roman is what Marcus is probably, or Freedom Fighter is drinking a Monster Energy drink. You probably will be joined by Marcus of drinking something of an energy drink. He usually does a Gatorade or something like that, though, instead of his Mountain Dew. Southern Comfort. Just real quick, Jake. Southern Comfort and Mountain Dew mix is a mixed drink? I've never heard of that, John.
that's what got me on my path to alcohol when I was younger. Was Southern Comfort actually.
Oh, SoCo and limes, absolutely. SoCo and lime.
Uh, that was my very first like sip of an actual spirit. Um, you know, out of all the whiskeys I've had, it's not the worst. Southern Comfort's not the worst, but it's definitely on my low list.
Mm.
But yeah, it's always, you always go back to your roots.
I always tell people that you can age out of certain drinks, alcoholic drinks. You can age out of it, and some of them that you've got such a big hangover that you just never want to touch it. I have one drink. It was what was that? I want to say what was that? Dang it! Why was it on the tip of my tongue? Purple Passion. Purple Passion. I threw up so much on. If it was around, I don't know if it's still around. It would make me vomit just to be in the same room and smell it. It would make me vomit.
I think I ever sounds familiar. I don't think I've ever had it.
Well, good. Don't ever try it. Hey, John. Don't worry about the
Well,
cheap stuff. I drink the cheap stuff too. I don't. If you go with, like the real, the IPAs and the darker beers, heavier beers, they kind of hit me kind of hard. And I like to sip on beers. I like to last a long time. I don't want to be drunk on two beers, so I usually get the cheap stuff too. And it's Rufio. He spelled it out for us.
Rufio. Yeah,
Rufio,
from,
Rufio.
yep.
Beer is your poison. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, Roman, but beer is my go-to. If I have to mow or something like that, especially when it's 101 degrees, I'm definitely going to be drinking a beer, cold beer. Are you talking about, is that 101 Wild Turkey shots? Oh, man. I remember Wild Turkey, Freedom Fighter. It's been a while, though. Been a while.
Oh man, I had wild turkey. Uh, not something I'd particularly go back to. Not
Mm.
terrible, but it's a little too dry for me.
Yeah, I'm not too. Again, it's one of the things I kind of grew out of Wild Turkey for some strange reason, and just kind of started doing the other whiskeys. Screwdrivers. Liz in college got drunk on screwdrivers and called her pastor of church. I do drink
Oh
screwdrivers on Saturday mornings when we're golfing. Gotta have me a
my
screwdriver.
grandfather sells those little like pre-made screwdrivers and little bottles like that. So we call them shorties. And shake it, twist the cap off, you down it quick. Have a couple of those, man. You're gonna be in a good place.
We're in a good place. So what we got you. We can wait on Megan. I know she's kind of getting some dinner and kind of getting her stuff together. Why don't you go ahead, Jake, and just tell everybody what you're drinking on tonight?
Nothing right this moment, but I wanted to try it. One of those got at my fridge. It's one of those Mike's Harder half and half. It's like a half tea, half lemonade kind of thing. I'm letting it get cold. It's been sitting in my fridge since I got home from work.
Okay, all right. And
So
that's got
I'm like, good, Brian.
it's got alcohol in it, half lemonade,
Yeah,
half tea. Okay, because it's
yeah,
like my hard lemonade, whatever it's called.
yeah. It's the Mike's Harder. It's got a little bit more than the regular Mike's Hard. So I
Hmm.
saw it on the shelf today, so I was like, I'll give this.
Yeah, Tower Vodka is a good bargain for sure. Again, I think I like it a little bit better. Me and my friends were actually talking about it this weekend. I actually like it a little bit better than Tito's. And Pabst Blue Ribbon, you can't go wrong with it. That's an old school drink. Uh,
Yeah.
has anybody like the Canadian beer called Labatt, the Bat Blue? Anybody heard of that?
Mm-mm.
Hmm.
Never heard of that one.
Arnold Palmer, an alcohol Arnold Palmet, or Arnold Palmer. I
Arnold
don't know.
Palmer.
I don't know if Joe is still in the chat, but I had watched one of his streams when he was walking around in Vegas, and I think he likes Arnold Palmer's because I think that's just tea and lemonade together, right? No alcohol in it.
Basically.
Yeah.
Yep, it's just tea and lemonade, pretty much. Yeah.
Hmm.
Now, I do enjoy me a good Long Island here and there, but I like mine particularly a little bit sour. So
Hmm. Then I actually do have a couple of Modelo Negros in my garage fridge still. I like those as well. I do like the regular Modelos, but I like the Modelo Negros as well. That blue on draft Saturday night, Bart. Dang, you are the man.
We
Thumper.
used to sell this stuff. It's called Dragon's Milk, and it was like they called it the adult version of chocolate milk. And I tried it. It was nasty. So if you ever see
Mhm.
something called Dragon's Milk, don't ever drink that.
Milk was the bad choice. That's a movie quote. If you guys can guess it, I'll be really impressed.
Pretty much.
What was that? Thumper said that his dad was having to own some car dealerships in Illinois, and he was a bad alcoholic, so we had bars in our house, and he became vodka became his drink of choice. Listen, I can't sip on vodka. I know a lot of people do, but I can't sip on it. I love me a Bloody Mary. I love me a screwdriver. But I'm not a yes, C. Allen. You are 100% right. You get the credit. You get all the prize money goes to C. Allen for Anchor because an Anchor man. From my quote, by the
Yes,
way.
yeah. I liked whiskey a lot more than vodka. That was more of my thing.
uh, um, so Megan, go ahead. Tell us what you're going to be drinking. Let's kind of get this thing going before the other two guys get on board here. As I'm going to text them right
Well,
now.
how does my audio sound first?
Sounds great.
Crank it up a
Okay.
little bit. It's a little low on my end.
Is it this mic? Did you
Yep.
hear that?
Yeah, that's better. That's
Yeah,
that mic.
here we go.
I was just hitting the mic to see if it was a right one. Oh, and I am drinking Black Girl Magic Sparkling Root. Let's hope it works with White Girl.
What happened? What happened? Sorry.
It says Black Girl Magic, and yeah, that's the name of the champagne.
Black Girl Magic is the name of the champagne, huh? Wow. Okay.
You drinking that straight, or did you say you're mixing it with something, or
No,
What? Wait a minute. Where is that bottle out of? Is that bottle out of Arkansas or DC? What's the look on the back of it? See where it's distributed out of.
California. Napa.
California. Okay. Never mind. I thought I knew somebody who had a company that they were using that name on their wines and stuff like that. And I thought they were a friend of mine, a friend of a friend of mine's, but I don't think that's it.
McBride Sisters collection.
So I have a story of what I'm drinking tonight. It's a very short story, so bear with me. I like to read. At nighttime, when I'm done with my day, it's hard for me to shut my brain off, so I actually read books when I'm going to bed. So one of the books that I'm reading has a character on it, and he's an attorney, and he's always going to this fancy restaurant, and right before his dinner, he has what I'm going to be drinking, and it is called Knob Creek.
Hmm.
heard
You
of
know
that?
So Knob Creek is 100 proof, 50% alcohol volume.
Ooh,
And normally when I drink a whiskey, it's usually about 45% alcohol volume. So this is actually pretty strong, but hopefully I can take it. And it's kind of got like
hey,
a little
what?
wax. I got a wax top on here like Makers, but it's just black.
Yeah, that's my dad's poison right there. Is Makers, and he likes that Patron. He leans more towards that. He he likes
Patron
that
is
kind in
overrated.
tequila. What's that, Megan? I'm sorry.
I think Patron is overrated.
We actually we took a trip to Mexico City, and then we went to Acapulco. Before we headed there, we went to the pyramids, and there was this vendor that was showing us how he makes tequila. It was pretty interesting, and then he bought this blue bottle. It said like Corlejo or something like that. It's like yeah, it was pretty fun. I mean, I was a young kid, so I didn't really appreciate a lot of culture back then. But
Hmm.
Yeah, I was hearing your stories about what the alcohol that you drink too much in excess or at the beginning. For me, it was clear rum. Not sure what kind. My mom used to put it in water bottles whenever we would go out traveling, and I ate something spicy, and so I downed this water bottle, what I thought was water.
Wow.
And I don't really remember that night, but according to my mom, she came back to the hotel room, and I was just rolling on the floor giggling.
Wow. Well, how old were you?
I was 9.
What?
So I couldn't drink rum until I was about 23.
I don't think I can't remember the last time I even had rum.
Sailor Jerry is my boy.
That's the name of a rum, Sailor Jerry.
Yeah, better than Captain Morgan, and it's 92 proof.
And you're right, see, Liz. Boring TV actually is a sleep aid. I used to watch Seinfeld reruns to go to sleep, but then my wife is a light sleeper, so the TV in our bedroom hardly ever comes on because of the glow and the glare. She's not a really big fan, so I just get on the iPad and read some books. So anyway, cheers. Oh, wait, Jake, how long is it going to take for you to get yours out of the fridge? It's going to be a while.
Oh, I can get it. I can go get it.
Wait.
We'll do a little cheers real quick, and those other guys will just have to catch up.
I was gonna wonder about Marcus. Is he joining us tonight?
Yeah, Marcus had to work a little late, and he said he was going to be about 8:30, so he'll be joining us pretty soon. And then also Trey is going to be joining us as well. He did the promo for us today. Hey, John, I used to drink myself to sleep, but then I got to the point where I was putting on too much weight, and I said, none of that. All right, guys. Oh, awesome. Harder lemonade. Cheers, Megan.
Salud.
Cheers, Jake.
Cheers, everybody.
Cheers, everybody. Absolutely.
It's actually pretty good. I like that.
It's got a bite to it, or what?
No, I mean it's a little tart, but it's not. I get a lot of lemon in that. I don't really taste the malt in there. That's it's got a lot of natural. Feels natural a little bit. I like that. That's probably going to be my new favorite.
Megan, if you are on Discord by any chance, if you see if Nick is on, because I don't want to talk about what he wanted to talk about in sports, unless he's going to be on. But because I don't want to bore people with extra sports stuff if he's not going to be here to help, discuss it. I will tell you guys. I'm sorry, right now?
He's on Discord.
Okay, cool. I will tell you guys. I actually we went with some friends to a baseball game last night, and we had the greatest time. We had some really good seats. And it was one of those things where you can go in and we had all the food you can drink. And then there was all the beer and wine you can drink. If you wanted to have like harder stuff, you had to pay for that. But they would come to our seats and, give us whatever we needed. So it was a great time. First baseball game of the season. Texas Rangers beat Astros, of course, because I see you. You know what, Liz? I see that you voted for no more extra sports talk. But that's another sleep aid. If you want a sleep aid, listen to some sports talk with us on Drinks and Discussions.
Maybe I should start going to some Reds games. Maybe they'll actually start getting a little better.
Oh, Roman, Stella Artois. Oh my God, it's a good beer. So Stella. So I'll give you guys. I see you in the chat too. You're still kind of going through some different things about beers.
Is it my connection, or are you guys?
No, we can hear you, Megan. We can hear you. I like Stella. I actually like Dos Equis. I actually have started drinking something that's called, dang it, what's it called? Pacifico. Pacifico is a really good beer as well.
You say that like you've never heard of it.
I said, what now?
You say that as if you've never heard of Pacifico.
Listen, I get tongue-tied saying the Pacifico. Pacifico. I gotta use my Rolling Rock. I've never seen Rolling Rock in a while. Sea Island. They still make Rolling Rock.
There was one. It's called Little Kings. It was like an Irish beer. Is that what it's called? Little Kings.
I never heard that either.
It's like an Irish beer or something. I can't remember the name of it. It was Irish something. Little Kings. little something. Hold on, let me look. It's because my dad's got a bunch of neon signs that have like different beer names, and we're still fixing all of them. But there was one. It was like a beer. It was like Little Kings or something. Yeah, let me.
I really would like to have one day everybody do a pairing, like what do you pair your drinks with? And when we started drinks and discussions, it was a lot too about a lot of drinks and other stuff. I like to
Cheez
pair
Its.
cheese. You don't drink champagne and Cheez-Its, do you?
If I have Cheez Its and champagne, yeah.
Oh, do you really?
Why not?
I don't know. I've never had
I
it.
like Cheez Its light.
I'm not Cheez-Its shaming you, but I've just never had it. I've never had it.
Well, don't knock it till you've tried it.
Hey, Warriors Rage. Hello, hello. How are you this evening? What are you drinking on there tonight with us? Um, while we wait on other people, I'm just going to go ahead and say what I have to say about the sports, and then they can come in and jump in at the other segments. But Warriors, I was hoping that we saw who was the guy that was a Boston Celtic fan from the other stream from the last week's stream. I forgot his name. If I see him in the chat, I think I'll remember it. I think it was Warriors Rage. I think you were a Celtics fan, aren't you? Um, but I think the game, the finals are over. I think the Golden State Warriors are going to knock it out of the park next tomorrow. I think they're going to win it, and the Warriors will win the NBA championship. I think it's over. And then, luckily for you guys, we won't have to hear about sports until football season starts. So you got like 100 days before that starts after the end of it. Hey, Chris Octor, good to see you, baby. Chris Octor is also a Celtics fan. I forgot about Chris Octor as well, and Freedom Fighter. Oh, we got a bunch of Warrior haters out there. I didn't realize that. Oh wow.
But
Back to
we'll
the
see what we
subject of
have.
what we mix. Sorry, Megan, I heard you talking. I'm
Go ahead.
sorry. Well,
Go.
since Brian was talking about what we mix, what like to eat or something when we're drinking, one thing what I did learn is to not do, for me at least, is to not eat greasy food when you're drinking hard liquor because
Oh, that's the next day.
at least for me it does, but for other people I don't know. But for me, if I'm eating like a pizza or a burger, or I remember one time I had like 10 tacos from Taco Bell, and then that didn't sit well with me because I had a bunch of Crown that night. I had.
That's a lot of tacos.
That's a lot of tacos, Jake. That's a really lot of tacos.
Well, I was young and dumb. Doesn't count for the time that one time I smoked a bunch of weed with my friends, walked down to White Castle's, got a crave case. I think it's like 20 cheeseburgers, ate all but 2 burgers, passed out, and woke up. And yeah, let's just say that that was a rough morning.
That's crazy talk.
That's cuckoo talk.
But for those who don't know, White Castle burgers, for some reason, are like a laxative. So
I can't.
yeah,
I haven't had a White Castle because they don't have them in the South. White Castle has been a long time since I've had a White Castle burger.
yeah, they just over the years they just stopped agreeing with me. You know what I mean? Just
Yeah, absolutely.
whew, that was I learned a lesson that day.
And James the Mick is the also, I believe. Aren't you a
I
Celtics
think he's a
fan?
Celtic.
Yeah, James the Mick is who I was thinking because he was the one that was given um, whatchamacallit, a hard time about the Cowboy, giving me a hard time about the Cowboys and some other teams last week. Um,
Yeah, that's right. He was the one that was anti-Cowboys. Him and me.
okay, yeah. I forgot about you. I forgot. I thought we had banned you. I don't know why you're on there right now. I thought we put you
I don't
on the ban list.
remember.
Oh man. Okay, so let's move. I'm glad everybody's okay with us getting off of the topics of sports. If you guys have things that you would like to discuss, because what we're going to talk about, not everybody is comfortable about talking with everything that we put on the table, but if you've got some things that you would like to discuss with us and get different perspectives, no matter if it's personal or not, or just something that's going on in the current events and what's going on in the world, please let us know. Gas prices are still high, inflation's still high. You want to talk about those types of things, please let me know. Um, but
Yeah.
Megan, go ahead, Jake.
Well, I was just saying that you were talking about gas prices. My dad owns a concrete business, and he runs. Uh, he doesn't actually run concrete trucks. He just has the trucks to load things into, and he's got like 7 or 8 trucks, and he's having to fill those up. And diesel's almost $6 a gallon, so you can,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's crazy. And gas being $5 a gallon. I'm not going many places nowadays either. So
Right.
just to save on
Yeah.
going places.
Yeah, I was thinking about going back into the office. Like, wait, I don't really put gas in my car. Like,
I mean, I
What
work about 15 minutes away from my house, but I just go to and from work. I really don't go many other places other than that anymore. So
the remote work is actually kicking in very in high gear. Everybody's so thankful now. If you can, if you got remote work, now it's the best. It's a blessing in disguise.
yeah, I
Um,
might be my next new travel buddy. If I can work remotely, that would be ideal.
yes, not trying to brag. It is nice. It has its ups and downs. I will tell you when you've got
Definitely not.
when you got a stay-at-home mom and a 4-year-old, it kind of can get a little bonkers at times. But I wouldn't like to go. I don't want to go back into the office unless I absolutely have to and work 8 hours a day. It's kind of like I've gotten into a habit of doing this for such a long period of time. Real quick,
yeah,
I just want to say,
it's my. Oh, go
just
ahead, Brian.
Warriors Rage. I would love to talk golf. Nobody wants to ever talk golf with me. I just don't know why, but nobody gets on here and wants to talk golf. Because I'd love to talk
Golf.
about the LIV, the LIV or live tour when all the people are getting suspended from the PGA because they're playing over there. Snoozy, welcome to the channel. I think I've seen you in the chats before. Snoozy04. We just kind of talked about the NBA. We also have other people that usually are our host, and we kind of get into it a little bit more, but they haven't been here. So I just kind of touched on it very, very quickly.
Hey, if
War-
Morgan Grace wants to come on, then you got someone to talk
Oh, no.
to.
Look, Warriors
I do
Rage.
like golf.
I'm sorry for
I
crying.
do
I'm
like
sorry.
golf. So
I'm sorry for crying there, Warriors Rage. Apologize. Do you play?
My last time playing golf was a company tournament. Everyone just got hammered, and I won female closest to the hole. I know that's going
Wow.
to come up with a lot of different. People are going to take that many different.
There were jokes that were just sitting there, and I'm just not going to touch them either. But I'm glad you recognized the fact that they were there, Megan. I really appreciate that.
I hit the innuendo sometimes on purpose.
Just to make sure people are paying attention.
Yeah, especially when talking about golf, got to stir it up.
yeah, I went out and played a couple holes with my dad a few weeks ago. Hadn't played in a long time, and I got to tell you, it shows. I should have. If I knew we were going to be talking about golf, I should have kept what I wrote down. You probably would have laughed at me.
I would never laugh because I'm a work in progress. Nobody's actually should be laughing at anybody on the golf course because it's not you against the other person, it's you against the course. And if you want to continue getting better, you just keep playing and you'll get better. Thumper 88. I have not played Prestonwood Country Club yet. I have played where they play the Byron Nelson, which is at the Craig Ranch PGA Tour course here. I have played that once, and I've played the Cowboys Club, and I think what else have I played recently? But that's about it. I want our guys to get a little bit more involved in kind of moving around. Oh, Veen, if you're on Oculus and you play golf, I've got the what is the one with the Top Golf one? If you ever want to play me on there, let me know. I'll play you on VR golf as well.
I'll crush anybody on Wii golf if that's still a thing. That was my thing when that was popular. So that and the bowling. So I'll go up against anybody there.
Okay, so what I'd like to do, if Megan is ready, I'm going to turn over the live stream over to Megan and see if she has a topic that she would like to kind of get everybody involved in. And I'm going to take a kind of a back seat and let her drive this next segment. And she's available to talk about whatever she'd like to talk about.
Oh, who's joining us?
I think Marcus is joining us right now.
Oh, Marcus is. Uh, I wanted to talk about, I don't know if we really touched on it last week, but just the civility, like people caring about their fellow human beings, neighbors, strangers, the compassion that we have for strangers. Like, not really a thing as much as it could be. And there's like no shame in people saying, like, you know, I have a right to be here, a right to film you, a right to do whatever I want, even if it makes you super uncomfortable. It's just like, what happened to our humanity? And is it worth just, it's not relinquishing rights. It's more just like, okay, you know, being kind to other human beings is important, just like my rights. My rights aren't going away. I'm just, I don't know, setting them aside for the benefit of others.
You know, it's fun. It's funny you say that because, hey, Marcus, welcome to the chat, man, to the live stream, buddy.
Hey guys.
Marcus, how you doing?
Hey Jake, how are you? Hey Megan.
Hanging in there, man. Can't complain. But what good would it do, right?
I'm one of those people who, have you ever had, and you guys in the chat too, have you ever had a moment where you overreacted to something and it was a little harsh, where maybe even you gave somebody the finger in traffic and immediately felt bad about it? That happens to me more often than not, and my wife actually tries to tell me, not she doesn't try to tell me, she always looks to make sure I'm not going to overreact when it comes to certain things, because I've never been a hothead by any stretch of the imagination, but there are some times where I have this problem where when I speak, sometimes I get a little bit more forceful in my speech, even though I don't intend for it to be that way. So I have to actually, you know, bring it down a notch before people think that I'm actually angry about it. And that's just something I've always, even within business, when I'm trying to educate others about something, I have to try to come across as not being arrogant and trying to be a little bit more conscientious of how I'm being reflected in somebody else's perceptions.
Yeah. I mean, that's something that, like, there's a reason that I am a certain way when it comes to reacting to things. Some people think I'm pretty cold or indifferent, and I don't like to, I call it knee-jerk reactions. You know, I don't like to knee-jerk. I like to sit on it because, you know, I really don't like it when later I'm like, oh, I should have said this, shouldn't have said this. I totally overreacted. None of that even. I mean, it saved my ass plenty of times to sleep on an emotion, and then if I still feel a certain way about it the next day, I have a much better rational mind to be able to, you know, discuss it with them. So I've just gotten really used to, like, instead of knee jerking, I just take a breath, and it takes a lot of practice to do that, and it's not easy.
Do you?
You know, I
Go ahead, Marcus.
Oh, go ahead, Brian. No, I was just going to jump in real quick on two things. So I have similar, you know, I don't want to say issues, but, you know,
a certain way
there have been similar instances in my life too where, you know, I'm driving down the road and I will have a knee-jerk reaction, but I've noticed that that's become more as I've gotten older, and then also part of the reason is because I'm generally a very kind person. I'm generally pretty easygoing, and I feel like that gets taken advantage of most of the times. So, when those people are cutting me off, you know, I am the one that's going to drive up beside them and look at them and flip them off, and that's me. I've done that more times than not. But also, to your point, Brian, about, you know, being in the work environment, I've got a pretty strong voice. It carries very well, and I can project very well, and I can be very, very loud. And so I have to catch myself sometimes, when I'm talking. I get accused of being too quiet, oftentimes, and that's not necessarily the case, or being too shy, or being too timid. That's not necessarily the case. What I'm trying not to do. I'm trying not to show you the bass in my voice. Is what I'm trying not to do. But yeah. So
See, Alan says it's because you're all jacked up on Mountain Dew.
is that what it is? Oh, well, since I'm late to the party, let me introduce to you. And Jake, I think this goes back to something you said last week, but I'm going to be drinking on the Mountain Dew Baja Blast tonight.
Oh yeah.
Mm.
I still got 2 more of those hard Mountain Dews in my fridge I've yet to crack open.
I was gonna say that's not the one with the alcohol though, Jake. It's not the one with the alcohol.
No, it's not.
Well, no, he pulled that out, and that got me thinking about them. I might save those for 2 more streams.
Megan, we can't hear you. What did you change? We can't hear you. Can you hear us?
Yeah, she's muted.
So
Here's
back
what I'm having.
There you go. Mike's hard, or Mike's harder.
Mike's harder, half and half.
Just
First
in case
time having
the
it.
lemonade wasn't hard enough.
we can hear you now.
That's what she said, Megan.
I was like, what did you say?
Is my mic better now? I mean,
Yes.
I just my audio.
Yeah.
There we go. That's much better.
So let me ask
yeah,
let me ask this question: is opening the doors for someone still a thing?
Yes,
Yes.
Yes. I do it with a smile.
I do it too.
I do it too as well.
I believe chivalry still does exist. Whether it's a man opening a door for a woman or the other way around, or just somebody doing a kind act for somebody,
Yeah.
I still think
I do
that
it.
chivalry still does exist.
I do
Well,
it for my daughter getting in and out of the car.
I do it for my wife when she's getting in and out of the car. And that's going to go on with what I sometimes I actually watch people and I see, and I'll even make a comment. I'm like, my wife hates when I do this because I am a people watcher. I'll go, oh, he's a jackass. If I see the wife go in and she's in his, or he just goes all around to his side of the car and just gets in the car and she's still, and he gets in first before she even gets her ass in the car. He's in there, car started, and he's sitting there with his door closed. I'm like, dude, what the heck? Is chivalry dead?
In
No.
some people, yes.
I'll let like you're supposed to do. If you're walking down the stairs, you walk in front of the woman. If you're walking up the stairs, well, you walk behind the woman, and it's not to look at her butt. It's for safety reasons.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think that the feminists have really kind of ruined chivalry. It's just they push back against it too hard, and then they're like all pissed when you don't hold the door open for them. I'm like, you wanted equal rights, but I mean, I hold the door open for men all the time. So it's not a big deal for me. But I do think that women or like the hardcore feminists have really fucked it up for all of us. And some guys are scared to even like socialize or talk to or hug someone.
What happened to the word excuse me? That's what I have. I think that's one of the biggest things that I have seen missing in today's society. Because even when we went to graduation a couple of weeks ago, you know how you're standing in a tight place and people are just walking in front of you or just kind of bumping into you? Nobody says, excuse me. Nobody says, pardon me. Well, I'm not saying people on the panel right now or they're accusing them of that, but I'm just saying I think that it's an omission in our society that I think would go a long way with, continuing that, bringing people together and having common decency among other people.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's just the kind of temperature of like what's been going on with the polarization of politics, just with technology, with just people not really having shame anymore in being shitty people.
And just real quick, Stephen Hill, appreciate you joining, buddy, but we haven't gotten onto that segment yet. So Let's kind of don't talk about that in the chat just yet. I don't want people to kind of get thrown off on what we're doing right now. But we really hope to get your perspective when we do discuss it. Right
I
now, we
did come up with another movie. Sorry.
but right now we're actually talking. Megan had brought something to the panel about manners and to say today's society. Um, and Megan, are you saying something that you experienced as of late that maybe kind of made you feel as if manners are kind of gone to the wayside here in society?
Oh, I mean, I think it's pretty clear just by seeing how people. I mean, seeing all the different YouTube videos that are out there of people messing with other people, whether it's Karen videos or regardless what it is, just seems like maybe more people have cameras and we're catching more of it.
Hmm.
And I didn't
Hmm.
realize how bad the problem was, or people are just more volatile and don't really give a shit about the stranger next. But no, I mean, I do get people do look at me sideways when I have manners where I hold the door open. There's like, what's her agenda? Like I must have some sort of agenda.
Let me ask this question to the panel. See if anybody besides C. Allen can come up with the correct answer this time. Trivia on this segment from Megan. If you see a couple walking down the street, hand in hand, on which side should the male couple be occupying?
I know the answer.
The
Are we
man
are we,
should be
Wait.
facing the street.
are we going to let people answer in the chat?
I was say let the people in the chat give it a shot first before the people in the panel.
Oh, I thought you were asking us. I'm sorry.
Well, I was, but I was kind of giving them a fair chance to play because they're not live on the microphone there, Jake. But
Oh yeah, fair enough.
you kind of did hit the nail on the head. You won there. You got the points. Um,
Yeah, the dance on that. Always have the man walk facing the street. Have your woman face.
you broke up just a little bit toward the end there. Or is that just me?
Did he just give the answer after we said we weren't going to give the answer?
Well, he said it before he gave the answer. Before we told him we couldn't give the answer, but then I said he already said it, so I might as well go ahead and let people know. And yes, we got a lot of romantic guys out there. We got a lot of men of chivalry out there who kind of know. Everybody's saying the right answer. It should be on the side of the road. And that is to protect the lady from danger. I don't know what you're going to do to stop a 2-ton pickup coming. If it's going to hit you on the side of the road, it's going to hit her too. So
Or
I'm not
water?
really sure why that is all what it is. But for me, it just looks. It's all about the aesthetics, I guess. For me, it just looks like it's what you're supposed to do. Can you hear us, Jake?
Yeah, my USB thing on my headset's a little wonky right now, so I
Okay.
got it fixed.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry for giving that away. I'm just,
No, that's okay. We just give you a hard time,
I,
buddy.
I mean that.
This is not Jeopardy, man. You don't get deducted points for answering out of turn. There are no buzzers here.
But yeah, that's always my stance on that when it comes to that particular question.
Um, I actually, I live in an area too where there's a lot of Middle Easterns that come over because they're in IT and they come over, and I see a lot of times, and I think we've talked about this too on another subject that we were talking about with Megan, and in that culture, they believe that the woman walks behind them. Especially the older generation. It's not necessarily always the case with the newer generation, the younger generation, but sometimes they bring their parents or their grandparents and they live with them in the house. And the grandparents are always walking, and the grandfather's way in front, and the grandmother or the lady is way in back, and they're just doing this leisurely stroll. But then when they get home, the man sits there and waits at the door before he goes into the house on the lady. And I thought, well, okay, well, at least there's something. There's just something there. I don't mind. That's kind of nice to see, right? No?
I mean,
Anybody?
I've never really heard of that tradition. Like,
Where when
I
they
don't know,
are,
maybe I didn't walk with my family.
you never heard of you haven't seen the tradition when the man is walking so far in front of the lady?
Well,
With the
why would you be
Muslim.
walking so far in front of the lady? Why
Well,
not be
I thought that was like a Hindu or a Muslim type of a thing.
yeah, to show who's in
Who's
charge.
who's the dominant, who's wearing the pants, basically.
Mm-hmm.
I've I can't say I've seen it myself, because usually when I'm in a crowded place where I'm from, I usually see significant others and all they're either holding hands or they're putting their girlfriends and their kids in front of them.
So they can
I'm not
watch.
saying I'm not saying it doesn't happen, because it does, but I myself have never seen it.
I'll get my camera out and do like everybody else when they see something weird. We just videotape it and invade their privacy and put it on YouTube. Just kidding.
God, no.
Just kidding.
If it's not on video, it didn't happen.
It didn't happen.
Right?
There are
Yeah.
no witnesses. You know, and I'm looking in the chats here too, and Elizabeth is saying too, the same thing goes for a man, adult man or woman when walking with a child. Let me tell you guys something. Speaking of that, I'm concerned. I am really concerned about parents these days. Because as I'm going to the baseball game, I see so many people letting kids who are barely walking just roam around, and all these strangers that easily could get lost, and they're just like all nonchalant with this kid. I'm like, pick your kid up in a crowd, make sure that they stay with you until you get to your seats, and then you can let them go up and down the aisle all you want. Then I start seeing people. This one lady was at a baseball game. It looked like she just had her baby in the bathroom.
What?
And I'm like, why is that baby out in public? Why?
Right.
What is going on here? So
Wouldn't that be something to tell your kids one day? Oh, by the way, I gave birth to you in a bathroom at a baseball game.
Yeah, I mean, especially when there's loud noise, you definitely don't want to bring a baby.
well,
It's just damage.
Stranger things have happened, but
so I have a 4-year-old. Everybody knows that. Even the doctors told us don't really take your kid out at least until like the 3 months, because that's when they start getting all the shots and stuff to make sure they're not going to get measles or whatever the diseases and stuff they vaccinate people for. But even so, they also tell you wait for till you get a whole totally different age group. I think it's almost like a year before you start bringing them into crowds and stuff. Well, our son, right at about a year, was doing like library things and going to like play dates and stuff like that. But a kid that looks like you just had them in the bathroom should not be in a baseball game, to me, in my opinion. I mean, the baby
not
was
around
like
that many people.
this big. The baby was this big, literally.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I've seen kids at concerts, like
And
babies.
hold on one second.
Young babies at concerts.
Sorry, let me just listen, guys. Aaron, I don't know who you are, Aaron. I'm glad to see you that you're on the channel. We haven't talked about Lauren Boebert yet. So I don't know why you're getting on here talking about somebody saying that they're going to sue our channel or whatever. So relax, pump your brakes. If you haven't been on the channel, you haven't watched what we've been talking about, smart people wait to see what we've talked about before they start actually saying things and discussing things. So unfortunately for you, you look kind of stupid when you're in the chat talking about something that you have no idea about what we've been talking about. So thank you for retracting that statement. I'm glad you apologized. More than happy to tell us what you're drinking, and we can continue talking about the things that are, what we're talking about on the panel. But we appreciate the apology, and I apologize for also getting a little hostile towards you. And I told people we weren't going to be doing that on the channel.
I was about to raise it up.
Well, I don't know what that's about. I don't think what we were doing was slandering somebody, but okay.
Yeah, I put on so when I put the chat out and the live stream, I told people what we're going to be talking about as subject matters. Just in case people do searches on YouTube, you put those keywords in order to have people find what we're talking about. And by the way, the resident jackass is just now joining our chat. So Aaron, if you want to talk about somebody and really give a bad review about anyone, please let it be Trey. And listen, Aaron Martin, I appreciate all 19 of our viewers. Hey, we appreciate that. We're just people who are like to get on a live stream and discuss things. So It's not all about the views and the clicks, but hey, we got you, so we appreciate you joining. So you're one of those 19.
Not complete without trolls.
Yeah.
I love the introduction, by the way.
Hey, you're
Yeah,
welcome.
it's good.
That's for all the text messages you were telling me when I felt really like butthurt for all the name calling, so I had to revert back to name calling you back.
Yeah, I do apologize. I had an appointment at an office, someone that you know. I won't say I'm on
Yeah.
live, but
Yeah.
had to run back over there, and it was running behind. Time got away from me, so I do apologize. I will be turning my camera on, by the way, in about 5 minutes, so when I'm acceptable.
What would they have some problems over there?
No, they were totally fine. They had some spillage on certain devices, and that's the reason they weren't working. So
They had a
just
big.
wanted
I know they had a big thing on Sunday, like a brunch thing up there on the Sunday. So people got a little intoxicated.
Yeah, 2 of the handsets weren't working, and all I did was swap them out, and they were all set to go.
Okay, cool.
Now, pardon me, I don't know this gentleman here. What's your name's Trey? Is that it?
Oh yeah.
Yes, sir. That is me.
Nice to meet you. Don't think I've ever heard of you, my friend.
Throw my video on.
So have you ever seen that movie Happy Gilmore?
Who hasn't? Are you kidding me?
So
That's one of my favorites.
Do you remember the heckler and the final round when the guy was paying the guy and he goes jackass,
You suck,
jackass. So that's Trey's name. That's what we refer to Trey as, jackass.
You're funny. That was a good one.
I'm
You're
glad.
gonna need a blanket and suntan lotion because you're never gonna get off that beach, you jackass.
It's nice to meet you as well, Jake.
Yeah, same.
Hey, John Ziegler, we appreciate you joining us as well. Again, this is just the precipice of our Drinks and Discussions podcast. We talk about some things that are kind of light at the beginning, and then we start getting into some more of the heavier subjects and stuff like that. We're not a news organization. We're not a political channel. We are regular individuals that just want to share perspective in a very civil and cordial way. And we were talking about just manners. And one of the things I'd like to talk about too, when you were talking about what Megan was saying too, to kind of go reiterate her points. I think even with manners, and I have to apologize to a lot of people too. I mean, if I ever said anything or came across if I was some type of arrogant, holier than thou person on anybody's channel in the past or anything, that's never my intentions to do. I always am trying to understand why people do what they do. It was never coming from a place where I was trying to censor or try to tell people to stop doing what they're doing or making them feel as if they were, not capable or not, they don't have the right to do what they're doing. So this is just a place for us to stay in our lane and have a cordial conversation with people that are not even necessarily like-minded. We have people of all different backgrounds and diversities and thought and beliefs. So we're not all going to agree on even the people and the faces that you see on the panel. We don't all agree with everything. So if anybody was ever offended, I'm hoping you're here to see that this is not even close to what we used to do before. And everybody is welcome. And we've said this before. We come from a place from just being, nice and cordial to everybody, and everybody has a place and a voice that they can actually, you feel free to speak up in here in this particular live channel and on this stream.
A couple people want me to explain my flipping sides of being Joe's live stream. And what it really comes down to is I was sick of being doxxed or being just put up on, on blast for someone else's doings or someone else's focus. So I figured just start with a fresh slate. And if I get doxxed or I get messed with, then hopefully it's on my own merits or demerits. So I was just tired of being low-hanging fruit, as I've been called before. That's why I just wanted to forget it with Joe. But I'm still pissed at Dave. So.
Yeah,
but hold on, Jake. Before you even go any further, listen. Megan has the floor. She had to say she wanted to say, and then she was answering stuff. But again, we're not. This is not that. We're not that channel. We're staying in our lane. We don't talk about those guys. We wish them the best. We're not in competition with them. There are no teams here. Megan's a grown up. This is not a flipping if she's here. She's not on Joe's channel. There's no sides. I've always told everybody, and you can go back and look. I think Joe's a smart person. I would love to have him and talk about a tech talk. I've said that time and time again. Even Saul, I will tell him that I would love to have just a stream with just Joe and I, and we'd talk about technical stuff. Trey, I'd like to say the same thing, but he is so far beneath me. He couldn't handle having a tech talk, so that's why I never do it with him. But this is not the place for this. And Jake, you guys can do whatever you want. You're grown-ups. Nothing's going to prevent you guys from still being on this channel. But just by being on this channel or any other channels that you are on, is never going to prevent me from allowing you guys to be a part of this channel, because you've always been cordial. You've always said nice things, and you've been cordial to the people in the chat. And that's all that matters. It's being a happy place. This is a happy place. Let's keep everything nice and cordial, please. That's all I'm asking.
Agreed. Yeah.
And by the way, John Mellencamp, that shit was funny, by the way. John Mellencamp said, I just read that Sean Watson hired Lauren Boebert as a massage therapist and had some spillage on her face when he got his happy ending. If you guys aren't watching the sports stuff, that is hilarious.
Can I get some backstory on this individual? Because I looked her up and I saw she's a representative. But I saw some comments about someone coming in saying, get your checkbooks out. So I was like, oh, what did they get to talking about on here?
So I didn't talk about her. So here's the deal. When you go on YouTube and you put your live chat, what you're going to be about, I've learned that you could put buzzwords. And that's what I was telling you on your intro, to do buzzwords. It follows this algorithm that YouTube does, and so you can kind of get into what people are looking for, and will show up on their stream. We're not a political channel. We're just talking. We're just people talking, and we haven't even talked about it. And there's a lot of people who are like you, who are going to, be really aggressive when it comes to supporting a specific group in politics. But we hadn't even talked about it. I'm just giving you a hard time. But he thought we were start talking about her, and he was mistaken, and he just wanted to be kind of like a troll, if you wanted to call him that, or I don't know if that's the right word, but he was mistaken, because we hadn't even talked about what we were going to talk about her yet at all.
Which is funny. If he did his homework, he would have just gone backwards and listened 2 times the speed to be like, okay, this is what they're saying. I don't see Aaron in there anymore.
Yeah, I think he left. I think he said F us or something like that and decided to bow out. So that's
nice.
it.
He got all the evidence he needed.
Yes, that we're jackasses. Or maybe it was right when Trey came on, he bounced.
He knew I was bringing the political hammer.
You know what I've learned about trolls is if you don't acknowledge them, don't listen to their guff, eventually, it's like when I was growing up, my parents would always tell me, when you're getting bullied outside, just ignore them. Don't even pay them any mind. Eventually, they'll go away. It's kind of the same thing with these guys. They're trolling people. They're talking all their nonsense. If we don't look at them, read their comments, or we can read them, but don't say nothing. Don't give them a reason to keep going. Eventually, they'll just go away and they'll stop talking. Well, that's what I've learned about internet trolls.
What I've learned is also, because you guys don't know, we stream on 3 different platforms, not just YouTube, all at the same time. StreamYard doesn't do that. So when we do, and you're looking on YouTube and you see our followers, you're not really seeing all of our followers. You don't see the followers that are on Facebook. You don't see the followers that are on Twitch and some of the other channels that we're streaming on. So it's not, again, about views necessarily. We'd like to get more people to get in, participate into this. This is, it's enjoyable. But at the end of the day, I like to have more differences of opinion. The more people we get, the more people I'm going to learn from. I like to learn things from people because I know what I believe and what I think, But somebody might say something, and just to this point, somebody showed me something about gun control, and it was like one of those memes that Trey sends me. And I looked at it and I go, that doesn't make any sense. And he goes, yeah, it does, blah, 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 blah. And I said, wait a minute. If something happened to the United States, it wouldn't be people carrying guns that would be fighting the war. Our military would be fighting the war. And he goes, oh, you know what? You may be right. And he whispered, you may be right. And I was like, but that's the thing. I'd like to have really good, educated conversations about a plethora of different things. And yeah, we don't delete comments. Yeah.
No sense in it because
No.
that's just gonna like I said, that's gonna give them even more reason to keep commenting. Just, I mean, yeah, read it. I mean, just but don't say anything about it. Don't comment back. Don't say anything negative. Just eventually they'll just stop talking because they're gonna be like, oh man, he's not saying nothing. Let's just get out of here. You know,
What's our happy place?
that's what I've learned about trolls or internet bullies or anybody that wants to do stuff like that. Just
It's about manners, but go back to Megan's points. Manners. If we all treat each other with respect and dignity, why should we be mad at each other? If you know that a person is only sharing their own perspective and their own, experiences with you, unless there is some, and even if you have something personal with someone, I grew up with you talk it out. Go into a closet, and if you had an argument with your brother, we had to hold hands in the car until we got to get along with each other. We had to wear this shirt that we had two heads in one hole, and our arms were one in there. We had to walk around with the same shirt on for like an hour. So why are we getting to the point where we can't even have general discourse when we just don't get along with someone? If I have a problem with Megan or Marcus or not Trey, but even Big Jake, I'm going to say, hey, man, listen, I have a problem. Can we talk about this? Because it's bothering me.
I'd rather know so that way I can be like, okay, let's talk about it. Let me see if I can fix what I did wrong. I'll say I'm sorry. Let's try to work past it. You know what I mean? That's my kind of thing too. Like I don't have anything wrong with anybody here. So
Right.
but I do understand what you're trying to say though.
Mm-hmm. What you got, Marcus?
Yeah, when I was a teenager.
No, I'm just laughing.
Well, go ahead, Marcus. What you got to say?
Oh no, I'm good. I'm just laughing at some of the
Go
comments.
ahead, Megan. I think Megan was trying to say something.
Yeah, when I was a teenager, my mom and I kind of switched roles a little bit, and she went to strike me when I was 15. It was just her and I living together. My siblings were living with my dad, and I just I grabbed her arm and I'm just like, we're not doing this anymore. We're gonna sit and we're gonna talk like adults. She was taken aback by that, but we've been best friends ever since.
John,
diplomacy is the way to go.
Vegas Valley Micro PP. We know you're in the closet, man. We can hear you in there moving things, shaking things around. We can hear you in that closet, man. I don't know who Vegas Valley Micro PP is, but that's kind of funny. What you're saying in the chats is kind of funny. Is that what you were laughing at, Marcus?
Yeah, I'm just like, there's some funny ones in here tonight.
And by the way, Trey is a ex-military. My father is also ex-military. We have military people in
My
our
father,
family.
brother, cousin, ex-military.
So all the people in the chat, including Freedom Fighter. Freedom Fighter, you should have the link to join the live stream on Discord. And Megan, if you can see him, or if you do, you know who he is on Discord, you can invite him onto the stream as well.
Yeah, I'll find him. Where do I get the link to share?
Marcus, can you send her the link to share, or Trey, can you send her the link to share to Freedom Fighter?
Put it in your DMs, Megan.
Okay.
Yeah, and anybody who is what, Brian?
No, go ahead, Jake.
I was about to say that anybody in the chat or anybody that's been in the military, thanks for your service. I appreciate everything you've done for me and all of us here. I come from a family full of Marines and Army, and they just a whole mixture of each branch. So I myself was going to join the Army after high school, but I just figured it's it wasn't me. But like I said, to me, you're the real heroes.
The biggest compliment I get to this day, and you know, I don't know why, but people always ask if I've served in the military, and I go, unfortunately, I didn't have the pleasure to enlist. I said, but my father did. I've got family members who have all served, including Trey. But I said I never. He goes, oh, okay. Well, you just carry yourself like you are a military individual, especially when I shake somebody's hand. When I shake somebody's hand, I give a firm grip, and they always go, dang, why are you gripping so hard when you shake my hand? I go, that's just how my dad and my grandfather always taught me how to shake hands. And one other thing people always say is because my grandfather, before he passed, he would always use the word chief. Hey, chief, how you doing there, chief? What's going on, chief? And so even Trey's dad, who was my first cousin, we say that to this day. And people always ask me, well, when you say chief, did you serve in the military? I said, no, that came from my grandfather. It's not like a military term.
Well, now I know.
You didn't know where chief came from?
I really didn't. I didn't know if you started it, my dad started it, whatever it was.
That was Grandpa, man. You never met Grandpa, did you, before he passed?
Are you talking about Major? Was his
No.
name Major?
No,
Oh,
no,
okay.
Julius.
Julius, okay.
You never met on Joe's mom's parents.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, no, I didn't meet her.
Mm-mm.
You know that I know that's why Evan's middle name is Julius.
Yeah, absolutely.
What you laughing at my family lineage, Marcus? Are you serious?
I'm sorry.
I'm so messing with you.
They are on fire tonight in the comments.
They are as funny as they. And by the way, Liz, I see you haven't watched the previous streams and the past streams. We all kind of talked. So Marcus and I went to junior high school together, and we've known each other since then. Trey is my first cousin's son. When I say his dad is my first cousin, he's also like my big brother, because my older brother, who has always been addicted to drugs since 17, Joe basically, or his dad, jumped in and kind of filled a void for me as a big brother throughout my entire life, and I am really close to his father. So Trey is like my second cousin nephew, and that's the only reason he's on this podcast. The only reason. Not allow this tomfoolery from anyone else.
Not even me?
Listen, Megan just gives me a hard time because I'm an easy target, apparently. That's it. Hey, Zeus, I don't know if we've actually said hello to you, but hello, Zeus. Welcome to the chat. We appreciate you as well.
Zeus is me, brother, by the way.
I forgot.
My mouth is full.
I forgot.
So
I forgot.
couldn't respond
I
to
forgot.
what you were saying. So that's why I had my camera off, by the way, because I've had a granola bar this morning. I was starving, so I had to grab some food on the way home, and I didn't want to sit here talking to you all and just.
You know what? I forgot Zeus was you. I forgot Zeus was you for just until I just said it, and then I was like, "Oh shit,
Yeah.
that is you."
But I do find that comical because we all know who carries the podcast. So I mean, it's okay though.
Everybody, well, hold on. Everybody knows that the views didn't go up until Megan joined the podcast. So screw you.
I mean, let's be completely honest here. I've always said we needed a woman in our podcast. Not saying that's the only reason. Megan has fantastic input, but a woman's touch to anything is always beneficial.
We have said that. We have said that 1,001 times, 100%.
Yeah. I was always like, man, we need to bring a female for a female perspective. This would help in so many things. When we talk about marital stuff, relationship, children, blah, blah, blah. And now we have Megan. So you're our savior.
Agreed.
What was I going to say? I forgot.
So
He's flattered.
Well, Liz, you're right. I am mean to him because he's family. Of course, he knows I love him. Trey and I are the best spades and domino players you will ever come across. So if you want some challenge that, bring it. We'll flatten you. That's all I can
Yeah.
say.
And just so everyone knows, for a little bit of backstory, like, I love Brian, you know what I mean? I look at him like he said nephew, like I look at him like he's my uncle, you know what I mean? I don't ever say he's my cousin. I just say, yeah, that's my Uncle Brian. But that way, if y'all ever see us going at each other, we feel more comfortable with each other so we can say certain things to each other. And I'm sure Marcus can attest to this.
I,
You know,
I've
it
witnessed
can
it.
get a little heated
Go
sometimes
say,
because
Mark.
me and Marcus are similar in personalities too. Just sometimes we stand on opposite spectrums of certain subjects.
All right.
Sure, you balance them out.
Yeah, exactly right. You have two
No.
massive egos on one side of
Wait.
of a tabletop, and you know, instead of it leaning to one side, Brian's big ass head keeps it to where we don't go to one way
Gotta
or the
balance
other.
the scales out.
Exactly.
Marcus is the mediator. Trust me, Marcus is the one who sits there all the time and goes, I just like to see you guys go at it. It's so funny to hear
Yeah,
Marcus all the time.
All right.
Hey, if you guys ever going at it, and I'm sitting here with a bag of popcorn. Don't mind me. I'm just, I'll just keep watching.
Okay, let me be the first to say this then, because we've had. And by the way, if you guys missed it, let me recap. We're Drinks and Discussions on the screen. You've got Megan, you got Big Jake, you got me, Brian, you got Marcus and Trey. We're your hosts for this evening, but everybody in the chat, you also should be considered as host because we try to bring in as much as comments as we possibly can to get your perspective on the things that we're talking about. And we've already talked about manners and how manners are missing, or do you feel it's missing in today's society? Please and thank you and forgiveness, or do you even say excuse me when you sneeze? I say excuse me even when I cough. I cough and go excuse me. If I burp, I still say excuse me. So, this might be something that we can bring on even on the next one. Next live stream is about being man. How does manners impact you on a personal and even on a daily basis? Because I think manners are the manners. My wife is a big manners person, and she calls me out. I got 2 burps in me, and the first burp comes out. If I don't say excuse me, she's on me like that, and I'm like, wait, shit, give me a minute. Got a second one coming, and then I'm like, okay, now excuse me.
Man, on that subject, one of my biggest pet peeves, and I mean, it's number one for me, especially with being back in the dating world. If I take someone out and we happen to go to a steakhouse and they don't know how to cut their food, it drives me up a wall. When someone grabs a fork and a knife and they stick it
Stab
in there
it.
and they're doing one of these, and I'm just like,
Stabbing it,
you know
yeah.
what? Dinner's done. You have a fantastic night. People, it's easy. Put your fork in your left hand, your knife in your right, and let's, make it look nice, make it look presentable. But I'm huge on manners as well in that aspect.
Hold on. Why the fuck are you taking somebody to a steak place on the first date?
It wouldn't be a first date, but
Oh,
you don't know
okay.
if they know
Okay.
how. You don't know if they know how to eat steak until you take them to a steakhouse.
Tell you
True
what, if
stories.
you're gonna take them to a steakhouse on a first date, you want to start with something cheap like Golden Corral. If you're gonna take them to a steak place,
Oh, come on, Jake. Look, hold on. We're gonna give dating
Just
tips on the
kidding.
next podcast. On never take a
I've
good
never
date
done
on a
that.
Golden
No.
Corral.
no, I was just playing around. But no,
That's a-
don't do that. If you want to talk to him again, don't
That's
do that.
that's true story. That's hilarious, actually. Oh, okay, so we're gonna give dating tips still on the next podcast because we got 2 people or 1.5 people that are on the dating scene. Jake, are you dating right now?
No, I actually just went through a pretty nasty breakup about a month ago, so I'm kind of just focusing on
So
myself
you
right now.
focus on yourself, but you're still on the market, so we can have this
No.
conversation.
I'm
Megan,
not, actually.
Megan is dating, so she can still give us from a woman's perspective. I think we should talk about dating on our next podcast. I think that's a great topic because coming from a guy who's actually written the book on dating and the opposite sex, I think I have a lot to say on this subject matter.
Thank you, Elizabeth. I agree with you, Elizabeth Stevens. It doesn't matter to me if it's first date, second date. I'm going to take them to a nice restaurant.
Yeah.
Listen.
I was just
Whoa,
kidding.
whoa,
Marcus
This
is
is
whoa,
like,
corral.
wait,
Marcus
wait,
is like, you get
wait.
Chili's on the 2 for $10 Tuesday, and that's it.
Listen.
Oh God.
The first date should be kind of like a social kind of an environment. A social environment meaning a bar kind of an atmosphere. If they've got food, that's great. But
Right.
I'm not going to try to wow you on the first date like I'm going to marry you on the first date. That's a kind of a put off from a woman. I think a woman should be put off if you're going to like try to be flashy on the first date. Liz.
That might send
Well,
all
it
the wrong
depends.
signals.
Well, it depends on the woman too.
Yeah, that's true.
Speaking
Good
of
luck
which,
for Megan's talking. I'm not.
Nope.
I was just
Sorry.
like, yeah, that's all.
go ahead. Go ahead. Don't be shy. Talk.
Well, no,
No.
I was just.
Literally all I was saying. Go ahead, Jake.
Well, no, I was just. I was just saying, like, just like Marcus was saying, it depends on the woman. Like, if you're finding a woman that's just into you for your money, then that's personally for me. I've been involved with somebody like that, and they're just like, buy me this, buy me that. I'm like, there's the door. You can buy your way out of here. So, and but yeah, for somebody, yeah, I'm trying to find the right words here. I wouldn't go so far as to taking them to somewhere like super fancy. Like, start simple, And after that, if you guys hit it off after that, just kind of slowly progress. Like, don't jump into it like super quickly. Is what I'm because that was my mistake many times in the past. I'd get out of a relationship and I just jump right into the next one, and I wouldn't think like, what am I supposed to do right? But now I know what not to do, and that's just take things slow. That's just I'm not the best at giving dating advice, but that's the best that I can give.
That's
I'm
good.
really bad at giving dating
Yeah.
advice. I'm just really bad at taking.
Yeah, that's. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, those people that give out fantastic dating advice. They're like, steer away from this type of person. They do this, that's a red flag. And then when they start dating someone, it's all the above of what they told you not to do.
Mm-hmm.
And another thing, my most recent one, she tried changing a lot of things about me, like cut my hair, stop wearing band shirts, cover up your tattoos, and wear nicer clothes. I'm like, be
Red
with
flag,
someone who.
Red flag.
What's that?
Red flags all across the board on that one.
Yeah, like be with someone who will accept you for who you are. Don't settle. Find someone that's has the same common interest. Will be willing to compromise and stuff like that.
I mean, that's something that we were doing. The topic was people in what was it? Interreligious relationships, because I'm dating a Muslim and I'm an atheist, and so we were discussing like you can't. There's those core beliefs about you that's just you're not going to change, and
Right.
because everyone changes a little bit with relationships. It's compromise, it's growing, it's moving along with somebody or away from somebody. Regardless, you're going to change. But when someone tries to change the core things that make you you, then why were they dating you in the first place?
Right.
Yeah.
And I don't want to get too deep into my personal problems, but I've spoken to people and I've told them about the recent relationship I was in. It's like, if that person's trying to change so much about you, that's because they're having insecurities about their past relationships. They want you to try to, and that's what they would do. Like she would compare me to people that she was with before. So
Been there.
yeah, so it's like,
That's toxic.
and I wasn't. I'm not gonna say I was perfect. I wasn't a saint, but that's the point I'm trying to make. Just don't change just because somebody wants you to. If you want change because you want to, don't. Like, I was making slow changes, you know what I mean? But if that person's unappreciative, I think it's just time to cut your losses and get the hell out of Dodge before it gets worse.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
fact.
like I got a couple that's been kind of crushed at my place for a while, and they have a young baby, and she's just she really needs a good role model. So like she's been listening to me, and I feel like she's made a lot of good changes. It is nice to see like people take advice and actually put it to use.
And
Even
like
if
I
it's
said,
temporary.
I'm not the best at giving advice, but that's why I said I'm just focusing on myself for now, and eventually the time will come when that person that lines up with me, just be patient. They'll come.
It's usually when you're not looking that they fall into your lap.
Exactly. I've taken myself off. I'm just working on myself right now. I've got some stuff I got to do, but
Yeah, I was only a couple of months out of a volatile relationship, toxic, narcissistic, and I was like, I'm not dating anyone. And that's when I met my current. I told him, I'm like, no, dude, I've just gone through some shit. Like, I need to find myself.
yeah,
There's
same
some
here.
baggage. And he's like, he didn't care. And so just pushing forward. But that actually kind of helped me just be like, oh yeah, okay, I remember me. That's right. So it actually helped. But I'm not a believer in jumping right into something.
Yeah, I'm a firm believer in taking some time to heal and just get right with yourself. Because after my marriage, I mean, I was married for 7 years, and it took me probably a year, almost a year. I'd probably say like 10 months before I even was like, okay, now I'll start, stepping back in the dating world. I just need to grow, learn from that 7 years.
Yeah.
Kind of like what Jake said. I learned what not to do. So it was like a 7 year long lesson. So it's
It's
definitely made me a better person now.
and it's not like I don't want to get back into it. I just need to take the time to get my affairs in order and find myself again. Achieve the goals that I've set for myself, and then hey, maybe I'll give it another shot. But and like as soon as you get out of a relationship, you got to heal because you're going through that process of, especially if it happens in the blink of an eye. Don't. I'm just saying, don't do what I did. Don't get out of one and just jump right into another. It's not going to work because then all the stuff that you're healing from is going to leak on to get the one you're getting into. So
Yeah, I'm back,
that's one of the things that I learned not to do.
I'm go ahead, Megan. But I'm back. I'm just want to tell you something, guys. I was back, but I got something to say. But go ahead, Megan. I'm glad we're talking about this. But go ahead.
I usually take like a year, sometimes 2 years between, especially intense relationships. So, I mean, I totally get it. 10 months is a long time for a 7-year relationship. I always go a little bit longer. So it was very weird for me to jump into a relationship 3 months after I broke up with. I checked out of that other relationship a year before I finally got. So, I mean, I was checked out, emotions. I had nothing. Yeah, maybe that's why it was easy for me to move.
So, Megan, I appreciate and hopefully you give more perspective as a woman on this panel because of this particular topic. And I would love to have talked about this later, but I think now, since we're talking about it, let's just keep it going. I believe men, and I'm talking to all the men on the platform, and we've talked about this a little bit before, Marcus and Trey. I think men are the biggest hurdle in relationships. We can't get out of our own way. And despite our bravado, there's a lot of times where our insecurities come out in ways that we don't really understand that they're actually coming out. So if you feel like you're emasculated in an argument or you feel like you're emasculated in this area or that area, we tend to kind of become more and more aggressive and stick our chest out and be more macho when it comes to dealing with women, or whatever, whoever you're in a relationship with. I actually believe that getting to know who you are is important in order to have a successful relationship. Knowing what your limits are, knowing what sets you off, knowing, because sometimes if you know what sets you off, you don't get set off. So if I know what's triggering me and it happens in a relationship, I should be going, okay, instead of letting that trigger me, I'm in a relationship, and so I have to be subconscious about what it is that I'm actually doing in this relationship, and I don't want to damage this relationship. So I'm going to, instead of being triggered, I'm going to sit back and just kind of let this thing run its course without me being triggered. And as a man, it took me several relationships, 2 marriages, in order for me to figure this shit out. And one of the things I realized too is that even with this relationship, I have fucking problems. I've exchanged the problems from a past relationship for a whole new set of problems in this relationship. But these relationship problems, I think I've matured enough to I can say I'm able to deal with them. Not to saying that I was a mature. This is what my trigger areas are. Here's how I can deal with them, and I'm going to try to deal with them in a mature way as a man in a relationship. And I can't say that I know all about women, know all about their feelings and their emotions, but sometimes I shut up a lot. I try to shut up a lot.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of an inside joke between a lot of us women. Like, men always think that we're the emotional needy ones, and it's just not always that way. At least in my experience, it's been quite the opposite.
And I the fights I've gotten in with this recent one, I'm not gonna lie. I have exhibited my passive aggressive behavior, but I do go into defense mode. But I agree with Brian. There's times when to be like, okay, just zip your mouth and listen. But that was one of my problems. I didn't always do that because I'd go on the defense, and I'm guilty of that. I'll admit that. But yeah, just listen. Just listen to what they have to say.
Let me ask you a question, Jake.
Go ahead.
If you're defensive, and to me, what I'm hearing when you say defensive, that means a wall goes up.
Right.
Let's just say that wall never goes up. Let's say the defense stops, and instead of being defensive, you become more of a team player, and you say, "I'm on the same team you are, whoever you're in a relationship with. So why are we trying to pit each other against each other in this argument? I'm on your team. So tell me what I need to do in order to make this successful. Whatever argument this is, whatever we're talking about, we're on the same team. I just want you to tell me what I need to do in order for us as a team to make whatever this is going on successful."
You see, and that was, I don't want to keep talking about myself, but that was the problem. She had her flaws too, but like I would ask that, like, what do you want me to do to help, this going forward? And she would just point out what she wanted me to do about me. And I asked, well, what do you think you should do different? And she's like, well, I don't feel like I'm doing anything wrong. I feel like it's all you. I'm like, okay, so what?
Been there.
And I'm seeing stuff that she's doing, and I'm even pointing it out to her. And like me, she would go on the defense too. So it's kind of like fire and gas. That's basically how I could describe that. And that it's I'm sorry, I don't want to go back there. It's a scary place.
Well, I think you make. Oh, go ahead.
No, I'm done.
I was gonna say, I think what you're saying right there is something that's just natural human reaction too, right? Because I can understand where you're coming from. Like what you're saying, I'm pretty sure everyone's been there, right? When they feel like they're telling their partner or the person, their significant other, hey, you're doing this wrong. And that person replies, I don't feel like I'm doing anything wrong. I think it's when you're telling another person who they are, it's an automatic response for you to be like, how are you going to tell me who I am? That's not who I am, So I think you have to do.
Go ahead,
Good.
finish.
I was
You
gonna
go
say,
ahead.
I just think you have to do a good job of explaining to that person from your point of view, um, what you're seeing, right? Why
Right.
you're feeling that way, and uh, you have to make them feel more objective about the situation, and not, oh, hey, I'm attacking you for who you are as a human.
Oh, that happened a lot. Like I would share my common interest, and she would just, just come down on me. And then, like I said, she wanted me to cut my hair and stop wearing band shirts, and it's like
Well,
she exhibited a very narcissistic kind of behavior.
exactly. And let me tell you
You
something.
know,
Relationships are hard already.
oh,
So so when you start
I
a
get it.
relationship, you all have these like little small things about ourselves, little personality traits that each one of us has to understand about each other. The things that should be easy, and I see Elizabeth saying the same things. It's good to have common traits that like politics and religion and things that are important to you. You should have somebody that shares those same common beliefs. Because if you don't start with those basic principles, the things that are going to creep up on you, the problems about why'd you leave your toothbrush on the sink, or why didn't you rinse the toothpaste out of the sink? All those small things that people argue about, if you don't have those basic common, denominators in relationships, it makes those things explode even more. So you should have a certain basic principles of who you're going to be in a relationship with. If you believe in this, or you believe in that, or you have a religious belief in this, or a political reason in that, even if it's education and how you want to pursue financial responsibilities, kids, all those things are important. Relationships are hard, folks, without those things. And if you add those things into it, it makes it all so much harder. You want your
Yeah.
relationships to be easier, not harder.
They're not easy. It's definitely there's got to be room for compromise. I mean, you both aren't going to always agree on the same things. You know what I mean? But you always got to find that common ground. And if you don't, like, say if you're living together, like that was going to be my situation here soon, but thank fuck that didn't happen. But anyway, if say if you're living together, like if you're having an argument, you go in this room, I stay here, cool off, come back, and let's hash it out. Let's see what if we can figure out what's going from there. But
Hmm.
I never got that chance. And
Jake,
I'm
listen,
not
Jake,
complaining about it, but
never,
just looking
never,
back.
never shortchange you. Never let someone's opinion of you change your opinion of you. Always maintain an attitude where as if you have the utmost respect for who you are. If you're in the position where you are, in control of what you can do and the things that you are in control of, never let anybody else move you off that block. Stay
Oh,
in
I
control of
understand.
who you are. That's it.
Just to kind of break up the monotony a little bit. Any Game of Thrones fans in here? I got my hand of the kingpin here.
I've never watched the
Sorry,
I've never watched the episode of
Yeah.
Game of Thrones ever.
I've been
I
geeking out
haven't
a lot
either.
recently. So anyway, yeah, I understand what you're saying. I just wanted to kind of get myself off that topic. I didn't want to get in too deep of that. So
You know what? You know what, Days D? I divorce has always been hard because um, my divorce. I had 3 children in our previous marriage, and to this day, um, I still wonder about their well-being because of that divorce. And I'm not saying that the divorce was not 100% the best thing ever, but when you have children, it really just makes you really kind of I'm just talking about a man's perspective because men don't get to see our children in a divorce every day. We have to get them on Thursdays every other weekend in Texas, and it's hard to try to impart whatever else they have to deal with on the other side, especially if you've got a piss poor individual as a previous relationship, men have it bad.
I agree.
Megan, the floor is yours.
Have at it.
Because it's interesting that you say that you gotta have stuff in common. My boyfriend, we do have a lot in common. We have a lot of things not in common, such as religion, politics, the world, you know. So, just yesterday he was talking about the likelihood of converting me. And I'm like, in order to convert me to any religion, you're going to have to prove there's a God. I'm like, if you do that, you're going to be famous. He just thinks it's going to be easy. And it's not. If I was a different religion, maybe then it would be easy, but I'm not religious. So, that's a major thing. So
Major.
that's why in the back of my head, I've always been like, there's really no future, because that's something I'm not going to convert him. I'm not taking his religion. I don't think he has the evidence of the gods. I'm going to be very hard to convert. But it's also that he's a conservative and I'm liberal. There's all these things, core beliefs we don't have in common. But the other things do keep us together, But I just don't know for how long.
Yeah, right. How long?
That's what I was about to ask. I was going to say, with what you're saying, I'm like, that doesn't make almost spells disaster, right? Because core beliefs are because core beliefs are what branch off into other things. So maybe when it comes to maybe buying a home or moving to a certain state or making a big purchase or something like that, are those things going to be a conflict of interest,
Yeah, he was starting to ask me like what it would take to convert me, and I'm just like, and I just started being like, these are the problems that I have with not just your religion but all religions. And I'm just like, if you can get over that hurdle, sure. Like if God appears in front of me and tells me he exists, then I'll become a believer. I'm not going to deny, but I'm a believer in math, science, logic, and reason.
Yeah, man, relationships are just so hard without a lot of the extra stuff. It's just it really is. If I was in a relationship as an ex Jehovah's Witness, and then I found out that somebody wanted to become a new Jehovah's Witness, I'd have a problem with that. And I know your beliefs, Megan, in religion, and if you are the way you believe, you should not have to. And I'm not saying to you specifically, Megan, but I don't think anybody in a relationship should have to
Pretend.
Pretend or pretend that they are interested in something that they're not.
That's one of the things I asked him. I'm like, do you want me to just like pretend? Like, it's not going to work. I have no problem with him being religious. I'm not going to interfere with that. But to try and convert me, it's going to get really annoying.
Man, I really want to carry this over into the next stream because there are three of us men on here who have been through divorces and we have children. And I think that this would be a great topic for us to kind of mold into a whole branch of just different ideas. And I know we've got other, females in the chat. You don't have to show your face. If you want to just come on here and just give another perspective, because I don't like Megan. I like Megan, but I don't want Megan to feel as if she's the only voice for the female representation. So I know you guys are in the chat. If you guys want to join Megan, she will be more than happy to bring you on, send the link, and we'll be sending you the link. And you guys can, beat up on us guys all day long. If you guys want to talk about this, because I think it's really important and men need to hear this. I think men need to hear a woman's perspective on how relationships are in today's society. And the biggest
Yeah,
thing is it's a political atmosphere, and politics is big right now in our dating atmosphere.
yeah. I mean, the people of the White House, the last administration, they couldn't get dates. Like they had to make a dating site for Trump supporters or Trump supporters that don't mind being with somebody in the administration. I don't know. It was like a big deal.
Speaking of good transitioning, that's great, Megan. You said it.
Anytime.
And I know Trey has been salivating at the bit to get into this conversation. And a lot of these people who are actually joining in, I just want to say one thing. Appreciate you guys joining Drinks and Discussions. I'm about to open a conversation I want everybody to research because it was brought to me by someone I admire. He's a very educated individual. He knows what he's talking about. And I'm not going to tell you that this is factual. I'm just telling you that it has been reported. So there's no slander here. There's no, this is all facts. We're not on political news story here. But here's the deal. I want to ask the question. And Jake, don't give it away again this time.
I got my mic up. I'm quiet.
I was kidding. But let me ask you guys a question. I'm bringing this in as Nick is joining us. Man, look at this guy. Nick, welcome, sir.
Hey, what's up? Thought I'd stop in.
Well, thank you for joining. What are you drinking on tonight, sir? You got a drink in your hand or anything?
Oh no, I have a migraine again.
Oh, jeez.
So I'm gonna take my loopy medicine, and then I'll be loopy.
My wife gets those migraines from time to time, so I give you a little sympathy on those. So,
oh yeah,
you just happened to get into where we're getting into some meaty topics right now. We've already talked about the lighthearted ones, but I want to ask everybody: if you're a religious person, this is totally hypothetical. Before I get into what I'm going to talk about, and the religious person that you go and you listen to, and they say, hey, don't fornicate, don't do this, don't do drugs, don't do any of these things. And say you're a Baptist, you're a Catholic, you're a Christian, you're a Mormon, you're a Jehovah's Witness. And the person that leads the congregation is caught fornicating, having an illegitimate woman or a baby or doing drugs. I got two questions for you. I want you guys to answer in the chat. Do you stop being the religion, or do you stop following and believing in the individual? What say you guys?
No, you don't. Well, speaking for me personally, no, you don't.
Hold on, Marcus. I said this before. You see, you were like a Jake. You try to jump the gun. I'm trying to give the people in the chat a second or two to kind of give us their insights. Say that. I did. See, you don't pay attention.
But it was a long question, so I forgot already.
I'm sorry. I get a little long-winded. I apologize. See, Alan said,
I'm glad
Nick,
you taught me.
Nick, see, Alan said, don't break out an AK if you're loopy.
Not gonna do that.
That's kind of funny. I'm sorry, that's funny. Oh, John Ziegler, you got a smoker? Jude, what kind of smoker do you have? Because I am the king of smoking of all meats. All meats. Hey, Megan, don't fake the funk until you taste it. You're so stupid. You left the joke right there too. I'm gonna leave it right there. But that's hilarious. I am the greatest smoker of meats of all time. I smoked a whole turkey. I do briskets. I smoke burgers. I smoke meatloaf.
Smoked meatloaf.
Listen, I will wrap a meatloaf in bacon. And after all the seasonings and all that kind of stuff, you wrap it in bacon, you put it on a smoker for like 4 hours. It's the best thing you ever had in your life.
Bacon's a crutch.
Yeah, I'm not a bacon fan.
I love
Listen.
bacon.
Hold on a second. Let me tell you guys something about bacon. And I tell these people.
But I'll eat
listen,
some meatloaf though.
Well, hold on a second. Let me tell you about something about bacon these days. And I get it. I know pigs used to eat slop. They eat their own piss, eat their own all this other stuff. They're the nastiest animal in the world. I went to a pig farm, man. These pigs live better than me. They brush these pigs. They make sure they have out potty breaks. And then they go back into their house. They watch TV. I saw a pig farm. They had watching Andy Griffin on TV.
Pigs are smart.
Pigs are smart. Delicious. And they're delicious. So all this talk about the pigs are the filthiest animal. Listen, if you feeding a pig grains and organic food and apples and all this other stuff, why the hell are you not eating a pig that's delicious? What say
you? Something glitched. I was hoping it would come back.
They sanitize that stuff before they package it, I'm sure. They don't just cut it right off the pig and put it in a package.
Well, hold
FDA would take care of that.
But hold on. There have been times, and I think that's why the FDA is actually doing their due diligence, and they're actually being more diligent about, what where your meat come from. Because you don't want these slaughterhouses. You don't want these pigs that have been eating slop. You don't want all that nasty stuff in your body. I get it. But now, man, come on. You ever heard of Wagyu? Wagyu beef?
Oh, I like Kobe beef or...
Is that Japanese or?
Yeah.
Yeah, Wagyu beef is Japanese. And that's where they they brush the hair of the cow. They feed them organic stuff, and they feed them on non-pesticided grass and everything. It's great. So don't tell me, Marcus, you don't eat no pork. my bacon wrapped meatloaf.
No, I don't. I'll eat some sausage, but I won't eat pork or pork chops. Things like that, but I'll eat some sausage. No bacon.
There's another joke on that one too, by the way, Marcus, and I'm gonna let it be there. You can have all the sausage you want.
I like fish.
What did you say, Megan?
I like the sausage patty. I'm sorry.
Megan said she liked the sausage.
I said I like smoked fish. That's even
worse. Whoa. Okay, Megan, we heard you in that closet too, moving things around.
I really do like fish. So smoked salmon's one of my favorites.
Listen, I got a cedar plank, and I put like salmon or tilapia, and I put a little lemon or a little cilantro and all the seasoning on the cedar plank, and I put that on my grill, and it's absolutely great.
I used to put a apple pie on the grill after barbecuing. Just let it sit while the barbecue cools down. Just makes perfect apple pie.
Yeah. I was telling everybody when I was on Joe's live stream the other night about a recipe that my mom's ex had. It was like he had smoked chicken wings, put them on the grill too. He put like he grew up in Fort Myers, so he brought a bunch of Fort Myers oranges from Florida, and he had like an orange glaze that he made out of those oranges, and he put that glaze on the chicken, and then he put the orange slices on top of the chicken and just grill it. And when I tried that, man, that's some good eats right there.
You're muted.
Your mic's not lit up.
Yeah, I can right now. Oh wait, no.
Sorry about that. It was not me. I'm sorry. I lived next to a guy who actually was a hunter, and he actually went and shot a boar, and he brought it back after he had it all processed and stuff. I will tell you, that's the nastiest thing you ever want to taste. It's gamey. It's not very good. I don't know why people want to, go and shoot and hunt their own meat and all that kind of stuff. It does not taste like Owen's Country Sausage. It doesn't taste like Jimmy Dean's. It doesn't taste like that crap. I know they put preservatives and all that other kind of crap in there. I give me all the preservatives you can give me, but don't give me a Spitfire pig ever again. It's not good. Just saying, it's not. Pickled pork hocks? Come on, John. Ugh. I will never eat me a pickle. I will never eat pig feet or anything. Hog mogs, chitlins. Ugh.
Have you ever smoked under the ground before? Like dug a hole in the ground and smoked that way before?
It makes a little pig.
Hold on one second, Nick. I see your avatar, your square is lightening up, but we don't hear you.
Oh, yeah, I'm having an audio problem. You know what?
Okay.
Let me fix it.
We can hear you now.
I know, but I'm switching between I gotta change mics. Anyways, so
Okay.
well, I'll be back.
Okay. Go ahead, Jake, or whoever else was talking.
Well, I was saying that if anybody's ever smoked using, like, you dig a hole in the ground, you wrap your meat in banana leaves, and you smoke it with the banana leaves. That's what I learned from one of my bosses that I used to work with at my job. He said that he had a ham and he smoked it. Like, I think he said he wrapped his ham in banana leaves, put it in the ground, put something over top, and then he would. I can't for the life of me remember to say how he did it, but he said he wrapped it in banana leaves and he smoked it like that, under the ground, like under the dirt. And I'm like, that's pretty.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
That's native. That's definitely native or Hawaiian. Native from Hawaii, and when they dig a pit and they do that kind of stuff, and then they put like these like either banana leaves or something over there to keep the smoke under or from billowing out.
Yeah.
Hispanic people do that as well. Are you guys talking about pork?
Yes, but Hispanic people do that as well. Yeah.
Yeah, for tamales.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, do you guys know how mezcal de pachuga is made?
I don't even know what that is.
I don't know.
Mezcal de Pachuga is actually the Mexican version of moonshine, and basically what they do to distill it, when they put their mash into the pot, they hang raw meat over the inside, and when it's cooking inside there, all the juices from the meat mixes in with the mash. And when it's distilled, you don't only get the botanicals, but you get like the flavor from the meats that's been smoked inside the pot. Little fun fact there for you guys.
Nice. And I saw Alan was saying that we got a pig problem down in Texas and Louisiana, which is a fact. I don't know what it is. I think you get like $40 a pig in a lot of areas, 40 or 30 for every hog you turn in. That's what I was talking about when y'all were talking about guns. I think 2 podcasts ago when you were talking about you don't need an AR-15. Well, it's the only thing you put a hog down with, buddy.
That's not true.
Yeah, John Ziegler. Yeah, we have a deer problem here too, where I'm from. Deer is a lot where I'm at. Like,
you could shoot a boar with a 22 and they're right in the head, and you can actually still put it on a boar. It may take 2 shots, but you can still put him down.
Absolutely not,
dude. I was on a deer lease. I was on a deer lease when we did it on a 22.
A 22?
A 22.
You probably killed a baby pig, not a.
Listen,
300-pound boar.
They all look the same to me, and I guarantee you, the head, it's over the office of the guy that I went out there with. It looked like it had tusks, but like this.
Yeah, that's how they look. Wow. Fun fact: did you know you can take a pig that's in a pig pen, a little pink pig, a little oink-oinker, and leave them out in the wild, and it only takes 3 weeks for them to turn feral, to where they start growing tusks.
Nope.
No kidding.
Yep, 3 weeks. Really?
But that's why I bring. That's why I bring.
So you're saying.
That's why I bring Trey to bring all the fun facts to the Drinks and Discussions podcast. All the fun facts.
I do a lot of man shit, unlike Brian. So I know all that stuff. You know.
So you're saying they wouldn't grow tusks?
What'd you say, Marcus?
So you're saying they wouldn't grow tusks if you didn't release them in the wild?
Yeah, like a normal farm pig, like the little pink pigs you see in like slaughterhouses. If you let all those pigs out in the wild, they'll turn feral and start growing tusk.
No, if you didn't slaughter them, they would grow tusk anyway.
I don't know about that. I
Yeah,
just know when
it's called aging.
Because
It's called aging of a pig.
maybe.
That's called
But
aging.
it wouldn't go feral. I know that because I went to a event to go shoot pigs where they had like thousands of pigs, and they were just explaining to us like how long it takes for them to get the way they are, and I was like, oh, that's crazy.
Didn't know that. That's new to me.
Yeah.
So I'm not a hunter, so I want to talk about something that's even more important than hunting. Because I know Megan is salivating at the mouth because she's got her little AR-15 ready to go slaughter some hogs. She's like, "Take me on to the four-wheeler." Right,
Yeah, assault rifle.
I'm a bow hunter.
It's called an Armor Soft rifle.
Armalite.
Armor Soft
Jesus.
because you're soft.
Armalite.
Because you're no, I said Armor Soft because you're soft as my Jergens lotion. Oh,
The
okay.
only hunting I've ever done is with a spear gun.
I gotta laugh out of it.
Thank you, Jake. And wait, you've been hunting before, Megan?
A spear gun, fish, and
Oh, that'd be great.
with lobster, it's really your gloved hand.
Oh my god!
Not,
And I love me some seafood. Yeah, absolutely, that'd be great.
oh man, living on the island, you would get sick of lobster at the end of lobster season. I mean, they're just how many ways can you possibly?
What island did you live on?
Catalina?
Oh, you lived in Hawaii. Okay, nice.
No,
Did you eat? Are they called sea urchins? Those are the black things with the spikes all over them, right?
Sea urchins.
no, and Catalina is not a Hawaiian island.
Oh, it's not.
No,
Where's
It's on the Gulf. It's on the Gulf.
Catalina Island.
Is it on the Gulf?
The motherfucking Catalina wine mixer. Right?
Yeah, that's why I was like, oh fuck, that's not
That's
Hawaii.
usually where people know the name.
Yeah, that's like my third favorite movie of all time. I can quote every single last line.
Seriously.
I love
But-
that movie's a fantastic movie.
What movie's that, Trey?
You don't
Step
know
Brothers.
Step Brothers.
I was gonna throw a guess out there and say 50 First Dates because we were talking about Happy Gilmore earlier.
I could do 50 First Dates, but Step
That-
Brothers, I can't quote a single line of a movie I only saw once.
Jurassic Park. You guys talk about Jurassic Park. I could quote that movie front to back.
Jurassic World, they did bring dinosaurs into my hometown.
All right, Mr. B, can you kill a feral hog with a 22 in the head?
Mr. B, you coming
You
up?
can actually you can put a pig down with a 22, and you might have to hit him twice, but you can still put a pig down with a 22.
They got pretty thick skulls. I mean, if you hit them, they'll bleed out eventually, but you got to follow it.
Yeah, you got to hit him with it a couple times. I mean, you're not going to hit him with one shot, but you can bring a pig down, especially if you're coming from a long period, from a long distance. Easily, you can slow him down with the first shot. The second shot is going to put him down easily. Just saying.
Yeah,
Oh,
like
you
I said,
could, Lord of the Flies, where they hunted the pig with their bare hands and whatever.
yeah.
It's
See,
makeup.
that's normally how I like to hunt, Megan. Is with my bare hands. Just saying, that's what I do.
And-
I do manly things. Manly things.
And with a bunch of school children. But that's
I never hunted with a rifle or a shotgun. It was always with me. It was always a crossbow.
Hatchet. That's a hatchet with me. Hatchet.
I liked going in silent.
Marcus is like the Ninja Warrior. He goes, I just sneak up on my prey. Sneak up on my prey. He never saw me coming. And
Never saw me coming.
I saw the alligator and I ripped his mouth open together like this with my bare hands. Because I'm a manly
Okay,
man. And Florida news today, Marcus rips open an alligator's head with his bare hands.
Man,
It's great. It's great.
on Catalina, they had to kill off all the boars and the goats. They did it with machine guns from helicopters. The liberals were pissed. Oh, because they left the carcasses just everywhere.
Right.
Excuse me. Okay.
You can do that here in Texas for $150. you can hang out of a helicopter attached to it with a machine gun and just looking like that scene from Rambo that everyone does on TikTok. He's like, oh, you look like Rambo.
All right, she's taking over.
Yeah.
She's sitting comfortably, Megan.
He's the real star of the show.
Yeah. Now
So
she's gonna stick her
and by the way, I don't know what Trey's talking about with these feral hogs, because the biggest problem we have in our area, because they're building so much in our area, is coyotes. It's coyotes. It's what was the wild what are the dogs? Not the dogs, but it's the bobcats.
What are wild dogs?
It's
Yeah.
bobcats. Bobcats
Yeah.
and coyotes and skunks are the
soon
biggest
it'll be
problem.
mountain lions.
In North Texas, where our area, there's only been
Rabbits.
like three bobcat sightings in like the past 5 years, though.
No, we put it on the community watch. Bobcats are in this area all the time.
I'm sorry, I was thinking about mountain lions. I'm sorry.
Yeah, not mountain lions. I'm talking about
You know, there's like
bobcats.
2 mountain lions that live in Arlington, right? There's
Yeah.
2 that like live there.
And they're protected because you can't shoot them. You can't shoot the mountain lions.
I don't know about that.
We've had bear sightings.
Shoot animals in the zoo.
In a zoo.
You said there were two. I assumed.
At the Fort Worth Zoo.
Who knew Megan had a comedy background coming? She got a comedy future. So Trey, maybe we should take her to the place that you were at today to get her on a stand-up.
We should. Is she in the Texas area?
No, she's in Oregon.
Oh, okay. Oh, an Oregon, the Free State. No, that's Washington. I'm sorry.
Oregonian.
Oregon
Wait.
actually.
In Oregon, you can do like shrooms and stuff now, can't you?
Oh, you could do meth in Oregon.
Okay, so Oregon is the Free State I was talking
Where the
about.
heck?
Yeah.
Where the heck did Nick go?
Dude, I'm almost positive they have. Don't y'all have like clean needle places where like you can go and get a clean needle so you can shoot
Yep.
Man,
heroin into your arm?
Really?
Yeah, the needle exchange. So that way they cut down on
Hepatitis.
and
AIDS.
and all the other
That's
diseases.
That's progressive.
absolutely
Yeah.
insane.
That's
Imagine living
progressive.
somewhere. Imagine them building a building and they're like, yeah, this is where all the crackheads come to do drugs.
All in one building.
5 streets from your child's school.
That's
Better than
crazy.
having them all spread out.
Listen, have you seen the episode of Wire when they told everybody who wants to do drugs to go to this little area and you could do whatever you want and we're not going to mess with you? That's what they got that from. And by the way, The Wire is a phenomenal. Actually, I just streamed it like in February. I streamed all 6 episodes, or 6 seasons of The Wire, and it was great.
Yeah, my boyfriend wants me to start watching that.
Oh my God, get on my Plex and you can now watch them all interrupted. I know it's not Cody, but you can still get it. All I have the episodes all on my Plex.
Oh, okay. I'll just go get them from there.
Yeah, because it's like no interruptions, no commercials or anything like that, and it's a phenomenal series. I actually watched. Even if you have never seen The Sopranos, I never had seen Sopranos, and
Probably only the first season or 2.
I watched the entire season of The Sopranos. It's still on my Plex as well. And if you want to compare The Wire and The Sopranos, it's The Wire and The Sopranos.
John, I see what you're saying in chat. Absolutely not, brother. Pickled feet. No.
Oh my God, that's disgusting.
No.
My mom
John.
used to make a jar of pickled pig's
Yeah, I had family.
We
Yeah.
used
go
to
ahead.
sell those at my work. They stopped doing that.
Listen, John, you're on a panel with like 3 black people, and none of the black people like that shit that you're talking about. Oh my God.
Way to spoil the season 1 of Game of Thrones, Jake.
I know, Jake.
Sorry.
If you haven't seen Game of Thrones by now, I don't care. I'll spoil the
I-
entire thing.
I've never
have to
seen
go
it.
8 years without watching it.
I've never seen it either.
There's a lot of "What are you doing, stepmom?" in that TV
Oh.
show.
If no one's seen it, forgive me. I'm sorry.
Mm.
If you want it, if you were ever interested, Whoops.
Like, whoops, sorry about that.
I haven't
No,
seen The
no, that didn't
Sopranos.
happen. I'm lying. I'm lying.
Well, but hold on. To my defense, and everybody else is here, I will actually tell you this. I never saw Sopranos, and I heard that they were like, if you never saw it, see it. And I said, okay, I watched it. I don't think it ages well in today's society. It just doesn't. It was probably good when it came out. It just doesn't. It's a lot of misogynistic crap. It's a lot of
Oh yeah.
crap that just doesn't make sense. The Wire made sense to me because it's crime, and crime is still happening today. The same kind of crime. I thought it was great, and I think it actually ages well in today's society. Movies that people tell me to watch now, which I'll get to at the end of the podcast. Sometimes movies just don't age well because when they were made, it was great. People say the same thing about Seinfeld. Seinfeld was great. It was funny, and if you watch it now, it's probably funny because it was nostalgic to you if you liked it then. And I think that's probably why I still watch it. But if you watch it today, would you find it funny? I'm not so sure. I want you to know, if people are in the chat, if you've never seen an episode of Seinfeld, start with season 5 and watch Seinfeld and tell me you didn't think it was funny. Don't start on episode 1 because you probably won't get past it.
I really don't think that guy's funny. But I think it's more of an age thing too, you know. I'm not sure I know how old Marcus and Brian are. I'm not sure how old the both of you are, but I just cannot get Seinfeld, and I just think it has to do with, you know, how old I am.
I can't either. I mean, I have watched it before, but when I'm sitting there watching it, I'm like, just, dude, what? Huh? It's not my kind of humor that I could. I was born in 1991, so a lot of different things were coming out when I was growing up. So, no offense to people who do like that, but you know, it's just I watch it and I'm like, it's not my cup of tea.
Yeah, we're around the same age. I was born in '93, so.
Hold on. Who cares about when you were born? It's about society and when you grew up and how you grew up. And so I was Seinfeld. I was the black Seinfeld when I was growing up. And so I lived in the apartment, and I used to call my apartment Melrose Place because when I was a single guy, I had my door open. And one of the guys who's one of my best friends who lives, he's a CEO.
Wait, what does that mean? You have your door open?
Listen, shut the fuck up. Let me explain. Grown people are talking now, Trey. Let me explain something to you.
I'm trying to get you to verify what that means.
So what I'm saying is that when I was single and my best friend lived downstairs from me, even before he got married, I had my door open so when people just wanted to come in, and as I was single, they just walk into my apartment. And I'd be like, oh yeah, come on in. We'd be drinking, we'd go to the pool, we have all these kind of like different things that were going on. It was greatness in my mind. But then I'm thinking, yeah, you can't do that right now. But it was great where I grew up and when I had that apartment in Plano off of Hedgecox and Independence. There you go. Down the street from Deerfield, by the way, Marcus. So you know what I'm talking about.
Okay.
There was a lot of debauchery going on back in those days.
So you literally had your front door open to your apartment.
Oh,
is what you're
absolutely.
saying.
Absolutely.
Okay. Was that like a inviting people in type deal? Like, hey, come hang out with me type of thing?
No, that means it's like if I was drinking or if I was off work and you know I was off work, you're just going to come over there because you know because I was working at that liquor distributor. I was working at Diageo at the time. So I had a house full of liquor. So everybody, when they were done drinking from working and they knew that they wanted to have a drink, they'd come to my house, free alcohol. And so I would sit there, and if I was home, just even brushing my teeth from work and all whatever I was doing, they'd just come in. They would knock and say, Brian, you in? I'm like, come on in.
That's actually so cool because I'm living in an apartment for the first time in my life right now. And I've seen videos and remember seeing things like that. But, like, dude, I don't even know. I know zero of my neighbors in this apartment complex. Okay, that's a lie. I know someone that's, like, on the first floor because of cars. but that's it. I don't know any. I haven't. Of course, I'm friendly. Like, hey, how you doing? But everyone just stays in their apartment. It's crazy.
But hold on, it goes back to what Jake. I'm gonna give you a second. Just 1 second. I'm sorry, I talk too much, and I know
Go.
demonstrably Days D. I know Megan. You think Megan didn't get a word in edgewise? I apologize. Megan, we're gonna give Megan a birthday present for a new microphone. Sometimes you gotta jump in. Sometimes you just gotta jump in. But so even where I live now, Trey, there are so many people who know who I am, not because it's a small community and you don't want to talk about it. You have to ingratiate yourself to your neighbors. And then if there's a community page on Facebook or whatever, if you go on to those pages, and even if it's something important, if you do like a little, wise as guy comment, people think you're funny. So we go to the community pool. People are always like, "Oh, that's Brian." Oh, and then you go in there. We play cornhole at the pool. I'm meeting people, and Jennifer's always like, even in our old neighborhood, people were like, we were like, everybody knew who we were, and everybody knows who we are in this community, because when something goes wrong, I want people to know I'm here to help you. And if you need something to be, if something's broken in your house, a light bulb. If you're an elderly person, I'll come over there and change your light bulb for you. And I've done that in this neighborhood. That goes back to what we're talking about with Megan. Being a pillar of your community doesn't mean I'm going to hold my, constituents or my, representatives accountable as they are being elected officials. That means the people in my neighborhood are being well taken care of. If you need something from me, I'm going to be there to help you if it's in my power.
Nice.
And Fluffy,
maybe I'll just start something over here.
Fluffy T-Cat. I think I cornholed somebody, and they did not cornhole me. I was not the cornhole. I was the cornholee.
I'm almost positive Fluffy T-Cat reminds me is the same person that's had the 3 other names, because they're so similar.
I'm telling you.
I'm starting to catch on to you, Fluffy. Nice try, buddy.
Fluffy, I'm telling you, Fluffy the Cat is a comedian. I don't know who it is. I think it's Dave Chappelle. But Fluffy the T-Cat is hilarious every time we see him. Every time. Fernando D, thank you for joining, by the way. I haven't seen you in the chat before, but it's great to see you.
On the topic of old TV shows, my sister got me hooked, and I'll probably get made fun of for this. The Golden Girls. We gotta admit, the way those poor women talk, man.
Thank you for being a friend. Come on.
For sure.
Travel by the world and back again.
Your heart is true.
You're a pal and a confidant. And if you threw a party,
help me,
and invited everyone you knew, you would see the biggest gift would be from me. All right, go ahead, Jake.
And the card attached would say,
"Thank you for being a friend."
Dun, 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 dun.
You guys are ridiculous, dude.
Anyway, as I was saying, you gotta admit, some of the things that those women said on that show could not be allowed on air today. But that's what I find comical. Just some of the mannerisms that B. Arthur had, that Betty White had. That's the kind of stuff that I find comical.
Well, let me say this to you guys real quick. I had no idea, because I watched the Golden Girls, and I phased out of the Golden Girls. I never knew until I was an adult that Don Cheadle was on the Golden Girls. Never knew it until I was a grown up. Absolutely. Don Cheadle was a regular on the Golden Girls. I had no idea.
We're talking about this. Oh, sorry, Megan. Go ahead.
All I said was me neither.
I'm thinking the same Don Cheadle that was on Iron Man. That Don Cheadle?
Yes.
Wow. I didn't know he went back that far. Huh. Well, you learn something new every day.
Well, I'm glad I can actually be here to give you guys breaking news. Speaking of breaking news, you guys ready? Are you guys ready?
Yeah.
You guys ready?
Mm-hmm.
So it has been reported. So if you guys watch the news, and I'm sorry if you don't, I don't care what channel you watch. I don't care what side of the aisle you belong on. I am right in the middle. I'm gonna tell you guys again. I am an independent thinker. I am the independent right down the middle. Even though Trey is giving me the eyebrows right now, I am the independent thinker. I believe certain things on the left. I believe certain things on the right. Not everything should be full tilt. I just don't believe that. I think if you believe that everybody is always 100% full tilt, I think you're not educating yourself enough in order to actually be educated to know about issues. But here's what I don't believe. And I'm gonna ask you guys this question. I think I asked this question before, and I don't know if I solved the answers. If somebody can actually tell me the answers, if you were a member of a clergy and the member of the clergy had an affair or they had that kind of stuff, what was the results of that question? Anybody know the results of the question? Would you drop out of the religion, or would you just stop following the person who made the transgression? What was the results of that? Anybody?
I figured he would just sweep it under the rug like the Catholics and just ignore it and pretend like it never happened.
No, but I'm talking about not necessarily the owners or the leaders of the religion. The followers is where I'm asking. The followers of the religion. What do you? Excuse me. What do you do?
Do you want us to answer, or is that
Yes.
for the
No,
Okay.
I gave it enough to the panel and nobody answered. So if the floor is yours,
I'll go
Marcus.
last.
The floor is yours, Marcus.
Oh no. Oh, Megan, were you going to say something?
Oh, I can answer later. Don't worry. Go ahead.
No, it's okay. I wouldn't.
No,
I'm
I know
sorry,
Meg.
Megan.
I know where Megan's going to go, so she'll go. Go ahead, Marcus, because we want to know the
Yeah.
Baptists.
Hey, real quick
So,
before y'all just
yeah.
dive into it, I just wanted to say I do have to bow out right now. So
Can
I
you give us
wanted
your
to
answer
say
before you bow out?
Oh yeah.
of what we have to do when a clergy member does something wrong.
Something vile, I take it, or a sin? What are we? Or what's
Right.
wrong?
Because I really wasn't even really understanding like what you meant by that. Like, are you saying like, give me an example? So like, are you about to relate to the video of that pastor who raped
on.
that girl
Hold
20
on.
years ago?
Hold on.
Oh, okay.
No, you got to go.
Oops.
Don't try to bring something into the conversation if you don't want to sit
Oh,
here
I'm
and wait for
I'm
the
sorry.
rebuttal. So if you want to go,
Yeah, wait for you to
bow out.
rebuttal and be like, all right, bye.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't do that to us. That's a disservice. But go ahead. You go ahead. Go ahead.
Sweet deal. All right, y'all. We all have a fantastic night. I will see y'all next Tuesday.
Nice meeting you, Trey.
All right, Trey.
Peace, guys.
All right, Megan. The floor is yours. What about to say?
Oh no. Marcus was gonna give his answer.
Oh,
as
Marcus.
As Baptist, and then I'll go last.
Yeah. So short answer is, it's not going to impact what I feel or what I believe, and I never followed the person anyway. So meaning it wasn't. At the end of the day, that person is just the messenger, because they are human, just like everybody else, and they are imperfect. Whether you're religious or not, there's no perfection about anyone. So yeah, it's not going to impact me at all. It'll because it'll make me just like, man. Okay, well, that's on him. But
What if they kept him in
whatever.
that position that he was in? Or she?
Mm-hmm.
Now that's a different. Okay, now you're bringing a different variable into the picture. So that does create some change. Because I don't think you can be a leader in that position and still hold that position. If now you can. That doesn't mean that you couldn't still be affiliated with that church if they let you. I just don't think that you could be in a leadership position at that point.
Megan?
Actually, I had two answers. One was going to be, my snarky atheist answer, and the other one was just going to be like, humans are flawed, and that's one person doesn't represent the whole religion. I don't see that really changing someone's mind, but it would be. That's why I brought up that follow-up question. It would be an indicator to see how the church reacts. And that's what's been disappointing in the past with all of the controversy with some of the religions. And then my snarky atheist answer, never mind. Don't worry about that.
Well, lucky for you, Megan, right now, my comment had nothing to do with religion. For all you people were thinking about what we were asking. I did that as to kind of understand where your, perspective is going to come. Because religion should be the same way. So I've always told people, I am not a Republican. I am not a Democrat. I am a strictly independent. I like to lean toward more democratic beliefs, but I don't necessarily agree that Joe Biden should be the best foot forward we could have put forth with the president. And from a Democratic standpoint, I'm not a Joe Biden big fan. I'm just not. But I also don't believe that Trump could do any better at all. So my question now is this. For all the people who are Republicans and Trump followers, has the conference or the things that what's the word I'm looking for? What's the thing they're calling it right now? It's not the conference. It's the whatever they're calling the hearings that are going on around January 6th. Has that influenced or made anybody realize that Trump is not, if you're a Republican, Trump is not supposed to be your leader if you've seen what I've been saying. And I've said the same thing before any of this came to light. If you guys are still thinking that Trump is the savior of the Republican Party, speak up. Please let me know, because I don't understand why anybody could sit there and say Trump is a... Say that again, Megan?
Is it savior or figurehead?
Both. Well,
I didn't need any converting from a Republican or a Trump fan to the other side. So I don't really have a good response. I mean, I knew what Trump was about back in when he took money from the Russians in the 80s. Not that I knew about it in the 80s, but I knew about it before he became.
Well, so I watched some of the hearings. Go ahead, Marcus.
Is Trump a patsy? Dun, dun, dun.
A patsy for what?
Possible.
No, I don't know.
Speaking of patsies, Herschel Walker is a patsy. If you haven't been paying attention, Herschel Walker is the biggest patsy I've ever seen in my life. That's a patsy. Donald Trump is one of the guys who I thought he wants to be the ones who want to have patsies underneath him. So so Donald Trump is not a smart individual. He's just not. He's not. And educated individuals know, and Marcus is a smart man. Jake is a smart man. Megan is a smart woman. People in our chat, you know when you listen to someone who's not smart, because we're like, that just doesn't make sense. And so we're open to saying that just sounds like a bunch of bullshit, but we're going to let you talk it and say it, but it just doesn't make any sense.
And then you turn around and you see all these people who are believing
it.
And you're just like, oh my God, we need to invest in the education of this country. Don't
Yeah,
defund the schools. Put more money into the schools.
right. And our armed teachers are um, the elections were stolen, and send me money because the election was stolen so I can get 200 and something $1 million and tell you that the election is stolen because I believe that the people who follow me are uneducated and they will send me money. People who, and that's why I predicated this whole scenario and this whole conversation on religion. That's what televangelists do. Televangelists prey on old people. They
Yeah.
prey on the uneducated, and they ask for people to send them money to buy airplanes. Donald Trump did the exact same thing. He took a playbook, a page out of the playbook of Joe Osteen or John Roberts or whoever the other people are. And I'm
See, can I?
sorry for that.
Oh,
Go ahead. Go ahead, Marcus.
I was going to say you made a comment about televangelists preying on old people. I think they prey on people who just happen to be old. I don't know if they. And where I'm going with that is I think that
Not old.
it,
Old and uneducated. It's Donald Trump supporters typically, I'm not saying everybody, typically are
okay.
uneducated and older people. He doesn't educate. He's people who are educated, even though there may be some, they are not Trump supporters. They are
Well,
Republicans,
Got it. Okay.
but they're not
Okay.
Trump supporters.
Okay.
some of
Okay.
them
No.
are
Okay.
because of the money, like they have money in it. Like I heard that a lot from intelligent people who still backed up Trump. It's just like, the stock market's doing great, so I like him. And I'm like,
Stock market is not doing great right now. Oh, you're talking about back then.
yeah,
Oh, you're talking about back.
back before the pandemic.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Sorry, I don't have much to say about politics. I try to stay out of that stuff as much as I can. So forgive me if I'm a little radio silent right now.
I can get pretty heated when I talk about politics. My parents are both Republican, well, former Republicans. All four of my parents are Republican. I don't know how I came out.
My whole thing on politics is, and this is just me, and I'm sure there's plenty of other people out there that think the same way. I personally believe that no matter who's in charge, this country's screwed either way. We're all going to be paying some kind of price for something, or whatever. I mean, like I said, politics is a very touchy subject. I never really know what to say about it. So,
See, I think
forgive.
that
Go ahead, Megan. I'm done. I was just saying it.
I was to say, it used to be people used to say, you never talk politics, religion, or money, and I think why not? I mean, it's it's good to get out of your comfort zone. It's good to have a healthy discord back and forth, not no personal attacks, name calling, anything like that.
Oh,
But
I'm not against talking about it. Like, I'm willing to learn. It's just me. I'm not. Like I said, I don't really associate with it a lot, so I really don't know what to say. So it's kind of that's why I said it's a little bit touchy for me. That's why I'm just
Yeah.
kind of
No.
soaking it all in. You know what I mean? Just
Oh yeah. No. I'm with you. I'm with you, Jake. I I hear about politics when I want to, or if I'm hearing it on my radio show on the way to work. Otherwise, I don't necessarily tune into politics. But
yeah, like I
um,
said, I'm willing to learn, but just don't kind of. If I feel like I'm being overwhelmed with it, I take a back seat. You know what I mean? Because I don't want to say something that's gonna be like, okay,
no,
he
you're going to
does.
tell us now, Jake. What do you think? Tell us now.
I don't know. But yeah, really, like I said before, I feel like no matter who's at the head of the table, we're all screwed. Whether it's a Republican, whether it's a Democrat, whoever. And when Trump was elected, I don't like him as a person. but I feel like he's done a little bit more good. Me personally,
Did you pay attention to politics during the years that he was in it?
very little. Still the same. All I did was go by what other people were saying about him, and the same thing with Joe Biden right now. I'm kind of just
Yeah.
peeking my head and listening to, and I'll admit, I'm listening to just small little fragments. I don't know the whole thing.
See, that's why it's important to talk politics, because it sounds like you're coming from a place that you are primarily surrounded by people that watch Fox News and stay in their echo chambers and
Yeah.
don't really even believe the other side. Like I was watching Jordan Klepper. I mean, the guy is fucking hilarious, but he was just like, these women were just like, no, absolutely. If Trump loses, then this is before the election, then the election was stolen. And Jordan Klepper's like, you don't think it's possible for a president who never ever got over 50% of the popularity, and like he said a couple other things, and they're just like that he might lose, and there's like, nope, absolutely not, he would not lose. And I'm like, wow, these people really believe that because they're surrounded by like-minded folks.
Oh, I'm not gonna lie. I've been like, I come from a
No, Street
family,
King.
like a lot of my family. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, nothing. I just wanted to see what it felt like to talk over people. Just kidding.
I'm trying not to. So when I hear you talk, I'm just like, zip it.
No, I decided to put my mic up here so that way you guys can probably hear me better.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
I'm with
question for you. Oh, I was going to ask a question for Megan then.
Yeah.
How do you know? Because this is my struggle, and why I become like a deer in headlights. I get glazed eyes when politics. People are in an uproar about politics. How do you know who's telling the truth?
Well, you don't. So that's why you got to take in a lot from all different areas. I mean, don't just go off of Facebook and one news channel. I mean, personally, my go-to for because by the end of it, I can only watch 1 hour of news of world news. And I would watch either PBS or BBC, just because, I mean, PBS, yeah, they're still biased. They still lean a certain way. But I think out of all of the other ones that are based here in the States, they're probably the most honest and the most objective compared to CNN, MSNBC, and Fox. And then BBC, because, I mean, they don't really have a horse in the game as much.
But also,
Yeah.
to Megan's point, when we do book reports, you have to have like references. You can't just go to
Yeah.
one reference in order and say, hey, this is why I came up with this book report, because this one book or this one reference said that it was true.
Mm-hmm.
As a grown-ups, we have to sit there and say, I watch Fox, I watch CNN, and then I watch some of the other things that go on because I want to be balanced on my views. I don't want somebody to spoon feed me whatever it is they want to spoon feed me. So why aren't everybody else sitting there thinking, hey, I want to be balanced in my views. Why would I believe in what Donald Trump is telling me? Why would I believe what CNN is telling me or Fox is telling me?
But here's my problem. And go ahead, Brian.
No, go ahead. No, I'm done. Go ahead.
Here's my problem is that to me that's bullshit to me. I mean, why feed us bullshit and make us figure it out? That's stupid to me.
Because we allow it.
Mm-hmm.
As
But
citizens,
how
we don't
but
hold
how are we?
to the same standards we used to.
It's called the First
And
Amendment.
we have social media.
It's called the First Amendment.
Yeah, and this is why. Yeah, it really is. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, look how many First Amendment auditors never read the Constitution. They think it's really, really long, and it's short. I mean, I have it on my wall. That's not that long.
Yeah. It's frustrating. It gives me tired head. I mean, I just.
Yeah,
Look,
and burnout was definitely a thing. People were
that's why
burned.
I said when. Yeah, that's why I said when I hear about politics, like I'm not against talking about it, but I can only handle so much to the point where I'm like, okay, I can.
But Jake, let me ask you a question, Jake.
Okay.
We've
Yeah.
all, and some of the people in the chat, we've all been involved with channels where they say holding our government officials accountable. That shouldn't stop at the president.
Mm-mm.
Okay? So if you're
No.
holding police
I
officers
agree.
accountable,
Yeah.
if you're holding the civil servants accountable, you should be watching the January 6th Commission and their hearings because you should hold their president, the highest, most important position of all of the free world, more accountable than the police officers that you're sitting up there
Yeah.
and you got your video cameras and saying, you're giving this person a ticket or you're giving this person a citation, whatever you're going on. Why are you not having that same zeal and holding your president to the same high standard?
Oh,
But by watching, oh, go
I
ahead.
agree with that. I agree with that. You know, and kind of, I don't want to go into the frauditor thing, but if you want to hold your government employees accountable, don't go about it the way they're going about it. Be formal about it. Like there was one channel I was watching, and he's like, you know, go to council meetings. Make make change. If you want to make change, go to these council meetings, talk to these people, and hear their side, and they'll hear your side, and all this and that. But I agree with you, Brian. I'm all for people holding, the president and people like that accountable. And
And by the way, listen, I'm not trying to make it seem as if whatever channels that you've been on or anything like that is not doing what they need to do. I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. I'm just saying that you can't hold one aspect of the government accountable, but then say I'm going to turn a blind eye to another aspect of the government. Everybody who are on those channels and everybody else, and I predicated this whole conversation about religion, and I did that on purpose because for Republicans, you should never ever put your faith in one person. I just don't understand why people do this with this Trump person. You believe in your beliefs, and if you see somebody who's going like, "Wow, my God, I didn't know these backcountry hillbilly knew how to vote, and now they are voting, they might get me elected, and so I'm going to move to these, back hill countries like Marjorie Taylor Greene, and be, I'm moving out of my affluent area to go to this other district, and I could run for city council or for congressman in this district because they believe what Trump believes, and I get elected because I'm spewing the same crap.
my
Makes
my
no
dad
sense to
made
me.
this. My dad told me this the other day, and if this is a little off topic, please tell me. But he told me go out and vote. Because like
Yeah.
if you're trying to make change, take advantage of that privilege. If there's polls, go out and vote. You know what I mean? That's where
Um,
you should start, in the voting polls. That's where it all that's where it all begins.
so
Yeah.
my question to that, oh, go ahead, Megan.
I was gonna say, they've discouraged a lot of voting, and that's all kind of part of the plan. Less people that vote, the easier it is for the politicians who just want to stay in power. And I think politicians, they do maybe go into it with like good intentions, but I just think the greed gets like. Because did you know Mitch
Mm-hmm.
McConnell used to have completely different policies and views back in the 70s or
Yes.
80s, whenever the hell he
Yes.
started? He was a
Absolutely.
completely different guy. Now I
Yes.
think he's like the evil puppet master that is just awful. I have so much worse things to say about him. Like, I don't use the hate word often. He's somebody that I can reserve that word for.
Uh, right here, this Roman Franco true. If you don't go out and vote, don't complain. It's kind of like, and I've learned that the hard way. If you don't go out and vote, and someone you're going against gets elected,
Let
You
me
can't
you yeah, you can't complain about it because you didn't go out there and make that step. Because if you really wanted change,
let me let me
you
let me
should
share
go.
let me share something with you, Jake. Let me share something with you,
Yeah,
Jake.
yeah. Go ahead. I'm here.
And
Listen.
I'm not trying to make this a Megan's comment. You don't have to vote. in order to make
No.
change. Some people don't have the ability to vote to make change. You make change by being active in your community. You can make change by being an activist in your community. That also can help maintain or create change in your community.
Right.
In black communities, there are a lot of people who don't know about politics. They don't know who their representatives are. They don't vote. But if you are an active community member of your community, you can inflict change by being who you are, your personality, the things that you do, how you carry yourself, how do you interact with people in your community can help promote change. So don't
That's
limit
true.
yourself. Don't limit yourself by just saying, hey, if I vote, I can make a change. Yes, and that's true. Voting is a great way to help inflict change, especially when it comes to holding our elected officials accountable. But there's so many different ways. Don't handcuff yourself in order to make change in people's lives. I know firsthand you can do a lot more than just voting. You can do a lot more than just, you know, doing the small minimum things. We talked about it at the beginning. Opening
Yeah.
doors. People look at black men opening doors for a woman. People they look at things where a woman is treating their man when they're holding hands and she's, walking on the inside of the street. All these things that we talked about today helps invoke change, people. That's why Drinks and Discussions is here. Because you can
You know,
invoke
and I,
change.
and I wasn't trying to say you can't make change without voting. That was just what I was. That's just what that's my knowledge of it.
Jake, listen.
It
When we talk, it's not like we're trying to shut you down on your opinions,
no,
man.
no, no, I
We're
understand.
appreciating
No,
your change. I'm just giving you a different perspective. I appreciate your intellect and what you're saying. I'm not trying to discredit what you're saying at all. So please do not take it that way. Anytime I
no,
talk,
I'm just
please
no,
just
like I said, I'm soaking it all in. I'm only 30 years old. I still got a lot to learn. So you know, hey, I like
so.
learning.
So
You
let me
know,
ask you guys a question because I put this on the topic of things, and we're talking about hypocrisy. And I know you guys were talking about some things where I had to step away real quick. But let me ask you a question. If you knew Donald Trump knew that the election wasn't stolen and he was bilking you for all of the money you had, do you feel some type of way when it comes to Donald Trump? Everybody in the chat, please tell me, do you feel a different way after knowing what you know now about Donald Trump knew that the election wasn't stolen, but he started a pact to collect $200 million of all his supporters' money in order to continue to bankroll him? Do you feel frauded, or do you feel bamboozled, hoodwinked, bamboozled? What do you know? Whatever word you want to say. Tell me what you think.
Especially when he charged you like a second time without your permission. Like it was
Right.
going to be a monthly donation to him. I mean, he did that to his own supporters.
politicians will do anything, especially with money, to try to keep themselves in their position of power.
But
That's
but
another
but
thing that
but
I've
Jake,
learned.
but Jake, but Jake,
Sanders.
hold on, Jake. Listen,
I
Jake,
may
you
be
can
wrong, but
listen. No, but hold on,
correct
Jake.
me if I'm
Hold on, Jake. You can be a Trump supporter. I want you to stand up and say you're a Trump
Yeah.
supporter. If you're a Trump supporter, we're not going to knock you. But
Mhm.
don't. But what I'm not going to allow you to do is sit up here and just kind of water wash it down, or wash it down with like some type of all politicians this and all politicians. I promise you, you're never going to lose favor with me because you are a Trump supporter. Just tell me what you think. That's
Yeah.
all.
This is not a place to walk on eggshells.
Yeah.
I'll admit what I did vote for Trump before Joe Biden was elected. I did, but I kind of went back to that mentality that, like I said earlier, that no matter who's running it, we're screwed. But like I'm trying to choose my words wisely here.
Just speak off the cuff, man. That's what we do here.
I wasn't so hardcore Trump. Like I wasn't I wasn't 100% for him. I mean, as a person, yeah, he's not I don't think he's a good guy. But he did some good and some bad, the way I see it. And if I sound like I don't know what the hell I'm talking about, because I don't fully know what I'm talking about because I'm not that big into politics. I'm just going off based on from what I know and what I've learned about stuff like that. So that's why I'm kind of stumbling all over myself.
Well, Jake, I hate to tell you, but you're going to have to get used to not liking 100% about a guy because it really is who's the better of both evils. Like, both candidates suck. Which one's going to suck less? That's really what election's about, unfortunately.
I understand.
No elected official has really done. If you really believe in your community, this is why I always tell people: don't really pay attention to the federal elections. Pay attention to your local elections. You have a local House of Representatives. You have a state House of Representatives. You have state mayors. You have state governors. You have all these state elected officials. If you believe in your state independence, that is where your voice really matters. So stop believing in the federal government. Who cares about the federal government? You want people to be elected officials that can go to the federal government and tell you about what you believe in your state. That's what the congressmen are for. That's what the House of Representatives are for. People don't understand the government. I talked to a lot of people when they couldn't tell you the 3 branches of government. I know Megan knows that story. They don't know the 3 levels of government. And it's not the federal, the state, and local, or whatever that response was.
That's something you learn in grade school.
Was it judicial, legislative, and executive?
Thank you. Bing. Marcus, it gets points to Marcus. He's actually going to Final Jeopardy at the end of the show. Thank you, Marcus.
Jimmy Kimmel really does highlight the stupidity of people on the streets in LA. I mean, some people, he's like, point to a country, any country on like the world map, and they're just like.
And that's my point to you, or I think we were talking about it earlier, Megan. Who's right or who's wrong? I mean, and then you've got all these uneducated people out there because we don't really have time to go figure out their bullshit, to figure out which one is the shortest lie instead of the longest lie. I mean, it's like
So a good thing to read is the book they send you in the mail with your ballot. It goes over all the propositions of your area, all the candidates, federal, local, state, and it's factual. It just gives you what they are, what at least what they're telling us. I mean, who knows? They could be lying to placate the voters, but it at least gives the facts that this is what they feel. This on this policy, this proposition means this. It's going to do this. Here's the whole proposition. I mean, it's very, very informative, and I don't think anybody really reads it.
I don't know.
It's like they have to put legalizing marijuana on the ballot for anyone to go out and vote.
Well, but here's the deal about politics. Everybody knows politicians lie. Nobody here on this panel is going to sit here and back a politician, and especially if you're like a career politician and you flip-flop from one stance to the other, whatever popular belief there is or whatever the case may be. So I put this on the topics that we're going to talk about on the description, and that's why we saw some people coming in, and we're talking about Lauren Boebert. Here's why I'm going to talk about Lauren Boebert, whatever her name is. I don't like her, number one. It's because when they passed the Fair Hair Act, the act that says you can't be discriminated if you're playing a sporting event or applying for a job or in school. If you have an afro, cornrows, braids, you can't be discriminated against. And I've seen time and time again where athletes have had to cut their hair because some referee or some person in charge says you can't compete with that kind of hair.
They had to write a rule.
Right, and it's been targeted to more of the African American community other than any other ethnic group. So I'm not going to call it racist. I'm just going to say it was just discriminatory. When Lauren Boebert came up there and she was going to pass a vote, she called it the Bad Hair Act. Meaning, if you didn't have hair that looked like hers, if you didn't have hair that was Caucasian, you had bad hair.
Yeah.
This is coming from a woman whose husband was fined for exposing himself to a minor. And you're always talking about people want to call Democrats these, pee-pee touchers or these whatever they want to call the Democrats, or what do they call people? Democrats?
Blood-sucking, children killing.
Yeah.
A couple other things in there.
Something. Her husband was actually fined and cited for indecent exposure. Now, here's the breaking news, folks, that you all have been waiting for. I'm not saying that this is factual. I am not saying that this has been, all 100% vetted as being, 100% a fact. But I will tell you this. The same group, Madison Cawthorn, the guy in the wheelchair that was defeated in his primary, and he's never going to be a congressman again, or a House of Representative. And they were showing videos of him humping another male person when he was a Republican and saying homosexuality was bad and all these other things was bad, and he was doing all these bad things.
Yeah.
The same group that exposed him is now on Lauren Boebert. Okay. Lauren Boebert, who, I don't care. She was a sex worker. Who cares? I don't care about the sex work. Go make your money, girl. Do what you got to do. I don't mind. If you're leaving the club at 3, as long as it's with me, I don't mind.
And I mean, it's not like it's illegal everywhere.
Look, I'm just trying to tell you. Marcus the one. That's the Usher song. Shorty, I don't mind. But I ain't going to go there. If you're leaving with me.
Dance on a pole.
If you dance on that pole, I'll make you a hoe. That's all I know. But we're gonna move on.
Real quick to answer Liz in the chat. What I think of Bill Maher, I don't think much of him. I think he's an entitled, tunnel visioned, just absolutely aloof and completely cut off from reality guy who likes to belittle everybody. Nobody's off limits yet. He sits on his fucking throne.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't have kids because that's stupid. And it's like, well, good for you, buddy. He's making fun of parents everywhere because he didn't have kids because that's stupid.
Bill Maher plays both sides of the fence. He plays both sides of the fence a lot.
Oh, because he loves his money, and the Republicans are all about that. So
here's my thing about, again, Lauren Boebert. Again, unverified. There's the same people that came out of Madison Cawthorn. Same people. And everything that they said about Madison Cawthorn was 100% verified. Have now come out and said, this idiot of a House of Representative individual, who I think is probably most unintelligent, is more than anybody else I probably have ever. I think she's more intelligent than Marjorie Taylor Greene, but she's still dumb. Who claims that abortions are wrong? Claims that Republicans are the moral high ground. Guns are supposed to be in the hands of children. Has been exposed, unverified. I'm not saying that this is verifiable. That she was a sex worker. She was going on this site and she met Ted Cruz, of all people, as a sex worker. I'm not saying that I don't know anything about their relationship about this or whatever. And that's why I'm surprised that some people came in early on when I said that I knew I was going to break this news to our viewers. Because I know there are people who are going to be watching. And I'm not trying to break the news as a news source. but I know a lot of people in DC. I know a lot of people in DC. Lauren Boebert, it's not a big. She doesn't ingratiate herself in DC circles. So, but here's the deal. This is what I'm going to tell you guys. She had 2 abortions from the age of 17 and 23.
How convenient.
And listen, Mr. B, don't give me that. She's a Democrat undercover on the Republican side. I don't want to hear that. She's sucking the teat of Donald Trump since the time she's been in the House of Representatives. So let's not give me that fodder of, people are undercover Democrats because when they get exposed and they were just trying to infiltrate the GOP as rhinos. Come on, let's be educated here and talk intelligently. You can't sit up there and tell me that passing or overturning Roe v. Wade is in the best interest of this country and you've benefited from Roe v. Wade. How hypocritical of you. I don't care if you're a sex worker. I don't care about that.
Is she sharing that with... Okay.
That's the whole abortion thing, correct?
Yes.
Correct.
I don't think overturning that is right because a woman should have rights to her own body. The way I see it, and I know it's a touchy subject for some people, but if a woman has a baby that she can't or knows that she can't take care of, she should have that right to make that decision to, do what she needs to do and not worry about the government interfering with that. I just wanted to put my input on that. I think that's wrong. I think that's unfair. A man can go get a vasectomy whenever he damn well chooses.
And that's covered by insurance.
Right. But they're making it so a woman can't get an abortion for a child that she possibly can't take care of or that is conceived by
rape.
I just don't want to.
I don't think they're monetized.
Well, I just didn't want to upset anybody using that word.
Go ahead. Just say what you want to say, Jake.
Well, yeah, that was conceived by, rape or, but if they want to give it up for adoption, that's good too. But I also believe that if, like I keep saying, if they want to make that decision to abort the child, they should have that right.
Yeah.
That's just my whole thing. It's their body. Now, I'm not for killing a child, but at the same time, I'm like, well, just like my first point of view, I'm kind of on both sides of the fence with that.
I'm going to say something real quick, before you start, Megan. You started this conversation a couple of weeks ago, and you never came back and to get on this panel because you asked it, and I told you I did not want to talk about it until we had somebody like Megan on here to talk about it. So now,
I'm sorry,
Megan's here, and she's going to talk about it. The floor is yours.
I didn't stir up anything.
No, but that's great because Megan is going to give you all what you want to hear.
Well, I actually was just twice, and so I agree with you on that. You don't have to be a baby killer or like someone who's pro-abortion to just be like, it makes sense that this decision should be between the woman, the man, and their doctor, max.
Not the government.
Forgive me if I wasn't trying to stir up a whirlwind there. I'm just.
No. We are all about these conversations, Jake. Welcome to the panel.
Yes.
I know. I'm trying to be considerate of other people's feelings. That's all.
No,
this is not. I mean, we are considerate, but this is where you push that line and you venture to see where those boundaries are. It's a safe place.
Safe place. We're not trying to make you feel bad for bringing it up. So when you bring up something, don't apologize. Stop apologizing. Bring it up because we want to hear what you have to say. So it's not about an apology. But I will tell you this. No woman wants to go out and get an abortion. Nobody wants to lose a child.
Mm-mm.
Have you ever been in a relationship or been in with a woman who has lost or miscarriage? I have been in those situations. I've had my wife and I have lost a child, and that is not something that you can ever go back from. You will always remember it, folks. So
Right.
people who sit there and want to like make it seem as if people are using abortion as some kind of a contraceptive device, shame on you. This is not what we're talking about here. So if you have the ability to do something, and by the way, I am not going to go through, what makes an infant or a baby a baby. If it's a heartbeat or it's a brain movement or whatever the case may be, that's not what I'm talking about right now. All I'm talking about right now is get off your soapbox for a moment and stop saying that people are using abortions as some kind of a contraceptive of a mechanism. Shame on you for believing that. If you believe in that, please convince me. Convince me that that's what you believe, because I don't
Yeah.
believe that women do that.
And I'm always down to listen to people who have an opposing view. And I'm the type that's like, convince me.
Right. Convince
I'm
me.
like
Go ahead, Jay.
go ahead, Brian.
No, go ahead, Jay.
Well, like I said, I'm on both sides of the fence, and like Megan said, you don't have to be a baby killer to be pro-abortion, right? So, you know,
No, not
if
pro-abortion, pro-choice.
pro-choice, pro-choice. But anyway, like if a woman believes that she can't take care of the child, she's got two choices. She can either abort it or give it up for adoption when it's born. But the whole thing with the Roe v. Wade thing, them trying to overturn it, I think that's wrong because, they should still have that right to say, hey, I don't think it's going to work. I'm going to do what I got to do to, you know, I'm trying to think of the right thing to say to ensure that I'm
Yeah.
going to be okay in the long run.
And your children and their children, I mean,
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
let me ask you a question, Elizabeth. Liz, Liz, we love you on this channel, and I'm not trying to make some kind of an argument between us. But she says that she is a woman who conceives, and she feels like she's earned the right to believe that life begins at conception. A life is not a single-celled organism. If you have a baby or conceive a baby, even if you have a heartbeat, if you take that baby outside of the womb, the baby cannot survive. The limbs, the immune system, the lungs, the brain, all those things are not developed enough in order for it to survive. That's my problem with people who say that as long as you hear a heartbeat, that's a living thing, baby. It's not true. That baby can't live without being inside of a mother's womb for months and months and months and months forward. So it's not the same baby that you have when you're pushing and pushing, and then the baby comes out and you hug and put it on the mom's heartbeat and all that kind of stuff. I just don't buy it, Liz, that just because you've conceived a child, that you believe that creation starts just in a heartbeat, because because it's not true. Creation doesn't start with just a heartbeat. You need a whole lot of more things to create to happen in order for you to have a creation.
Also, part of the problem is these politicians making these decisions are like, we're going to force you to have this baby, and then once he's born, we're not going to help you at all.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's wrong too. Like,
There's like, we care until that baby's born, then fuck all y'all. You're poor.
Right.
Right.
Get it
Yeah.
together.
yeah,
Pick
that's
yourself up by your bootstraps. I don't like that.
yeah, that's disgusting. I don't. That's messed up to me.
But and Liz, listen. I see. So here's why I'm so passionate about this, and I get it. when your son was conceived, he was your son. My wife and I had a miscarriage, and I still think about that. Even when I'm watching my son when I go to sleep, before I go to bed, I always go in there in my son's bedroom. I put my hand on him. Even though I'm trying not to disturb him, I just want to make sure he's still breathing. And everybody knows I'm a helicopter dad. Don't laugh at me. Don't laugh at me.
I do that. I still do that to my 12-year-old daughter.
Right.
I'll get up in the middle of the night.
Good videos to help you guys.
Well, kudos to us, Marcus, because we're great dads, because we're nurturing individuals. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to tell you guys, and I'm not a woman, I'm not going to tell you I want to be in your shoes if you have to make that conscientious decision to abort a pregnancy. It can't be easy. And I get it. You want to protect, if you want to have a baby and that's your pride and joy, why are you even having a conversation with someone who wants to abort, Liz? So I get it. If you want to protect your newborn baby or your newborn pregnancy, congratulations. Great. Do it. But that doesn't mean that you can have the right to tell someone else that they have to feel the exact same way, in my opinion, when they feel as if they're not ready to have a pregnancy. They're not ready to be parents. They're not ready to have this entity growing inside of them.
That's all. They're talking about a virus in a living person.
They're comparing single-celled organisms, like Brian said.
Yeah, that's not true. Yeah, that's Megan's got it. It's human beings are not single-cell organisms.
No,
we shouldn't be compared to single-celled organisms.
All right.
That's
right.
Hey guys,
I got you, Liz. Yeah. What do you think?
Guys, I hate to do this to you, but I'm gonna have to buy out.
But hold on a second, Marcus.
I got early mornings coming.
Let's give it a little cool down period, because I know we've been talking about a lot of things. Well, actually, I didn't even know we have been 3 hours over here. But I want to make sure everybody understands that the hypocrisy that Lauren Boebert is projecting on her constituents. That's why I wanted to bring it up. There hasn't been anybody who has actually been in the chat, because I know there were a lot of people coming in here waiting on us to talk about it. But we're not saying that this has been verified. But the people who have actually been a part of this investigation are the same individuals that were talking about Madison Cawthorn, and they were completely accurate on the findings that they were going to do. And they told us that he wasn't going to be the first one, or the last one. They told us they were coming after more of these Republican blowhards and expose them for their hypocrisy. I can't wait for some more, because I know there's going to be more to come. But before Marcus leaves, I want to have one more thing I got to say, Marcus, and then you can give your final thoughts. See, Alan, this is for you, buddy. I watched this movie. And by the way, thank you everybody for joining the chat. We've been ranging around 20 views on YouTube and about 5 views on Facebook. That's probably more than we ever could have expected. So I appreciate you guys. Hopefully we'll get more as the week goes by. But we appreciate you guys. All we're doing is just talking among ourselves, among friends. And if you want to listen to this, thank you for listening to this. But we appreciate you guys. And if you have some subjects that you want us to talk about, dating next week, that's going to be our big topic, and some other stuff. But see, Alan, after Memoirs of a Geisha, I went with your recommendation of, what's the name of that movie?
You already forgot.
I did, but I got it right here. Hold on, I got it right here. It was, see, Alan, it was 25th Hour. 25th Hour.
Did I see it?
Yes, see, Alan, 25th Hour. And let me tell you something. What intrigued me about this movie on the outset, and I'm going to wait for my after party to give you guys the full synopsis of my review. The 25th Hour stars one of my really, I think he's an underrated actor. I heard he was like one of those method actors that took things too far and became an asshole. And I think he might be out of Hollywood right now. But it was, what's the guy's name? Damn. What the fuck is that guy's name? Edward
Norton.
Edward Norton. Thank you. Edward Norton. I've seen him in The Illusionist. I've seen him in Fight Club. I've seen him in a lot of movies that I actually really enjoyed. And I will be honest with you. You thought you like him too?
Oh yeah.
It was. And by the way, I didn't know that it was a Spike Lee joint. By the way, Marcus, Spike Lee directed this movie.
Okay.
And now I knew why it left me wanting more. Because Spike Lee directed it. It was a movie that just kind of made me want more. From the characters and from the whole premise of this movie was they spent a lot of time on things that just didn't matter, and they could have had a lot more substance on the intrigue of the movie, and I just wanted more. So I'm gonna do an after party video tomorrow and discuss just this movie, The 25th Hour. If you, Megan, you need to get on the Plex account, watch it, and I need some other people to give me some critiques because I thought I thought it needed to have more to it. More to it. That's all I'm gonna say.
Can I give you a suggestion for a next movie? Let's hope if you haven't seen it.
Oh my gosh. Memoirs of a Geek Show is gonna give me some more suggestions. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Do you like Mel Brooks?
Listen, if you're gonna tell me to watch
Yes.
If you're going to tell me to watch Spaceballs, or if you're going to tell me to watch, what's the other one with the black comedian in it?
You know he's made more than 2 movies, right?
But he also, what's the Western movie?
Blazing Saddles.
Blazing Saddles.
Blazing Saddles.
Don't tell me to watch either one of those movies because they don't think they aged as well.
No.
What about Spaceballs, the T-shirt?
All right, Megan, go ahead. Go ahead. Megan.
Sorry, my internet did something weird. I didn't miss what you just said.
I just said, go ahead. Give me the suggestion. What do you got?
History of the World Part 1.
Yes.
History of the World Part 1.
It's a great
Love that movie.
I have seen it, but it's been a long time since I've seen it.
Well, then rewatch it.
All I can say, one word, mighty joint. Or was that History of the World Part 2?
There is no History of the World Part 2.
But
they never made a Part 2? I could have sworn they did.
That was the whole, that was the joke about History of the World Part 2. Hitler on ice, Jews in outer space.
But here's the deal. If I watch it, and I know you've seen it, Megan, if anybody else makes a suggestion to watch a movie, I really want you to rewatch it during the week before I make, I'll watch it tomorrow and I'll post my after party. If you're gonna watch it, then when I post my after party, either you have to be on the after party or you have to comment on the after party and give me your same synopsis or what you thought about it today, not when you watched it before, but today. Because movies are.
I did have another one in case you did see that one. It was shit. I gotta go grab the DVD and check. It was.
And by the way, just before we finish, somebody said, "Oh, Fluffy T Cat, American History X is probably one of my favorite movies of Edward Norton. He played a phenomenal character. Fantastic.
Damn, he was.
It was great. It was far beyond anything I've ever seen. It moved me so much, and that movie moved me so much. American History X, hard to watch, but it's a phenomenal movie.
It is hard to watch.
All right.
Going with final thoughts, so I'll have that.
Okay. All right. So let's start with Jake. Go ahead, Jake. As we get. Oh, by the way, thank you everybody. Murray Cook. I really hope you actually are doing very, very well. I know you've got some health issues. Really wish that you really have some really good, fortune when it comes to your health. Stay healthy. If there's anything that you need, even just from a distance, if we can give you some more support, we're here to do that. We appreciate you being a watcher over here. I know we've seen you on some other channels, but this is not those channels. We appreciate you, and we hope that you are getting the treatments you need. But always reach out to us if there's anything that you need, even if it's monetary. If we can do something for you as a community, we want to make sure we can do something for everybody that supports us. But Jake,
Yes,
you have the last words, and don't sit there and say I don't have a lot to talk about and I don't have a lot to say. I want you to talk about Jake right now. You got 1 minute to talk about Jake, and we appreciate you, brother. You know you're my man. So you're always welcome, and we appreciate saying it. So give us some positivity on the way out.
Oh, well, it's been kind of a rough work week, but I'm hanging in there. Lately, just been going with the flow, listening to some good music and getting my personal affairs in order. I had my niece's first birthday party last weekend, which was
nice.
That was a great day, man. She most adorable little thing ever. Trying to get my guitar fixed over here. I'm gonna try to get back into doing that. I'm no mad good player, but I want to try to do that. Yeah, like I said, I just want to get back into try to make music some more. Seems to be the only kind of thing that's keeping me from completely losing my marbles. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But the only thing negative I'll say about today, man, it was hot.
Oh, yes.
It was hot.
Hot.
It felt. I think it was like 96, but with all that humidity, it felt like it was about 105. Yeah, it was rough. But
Be hot in no time.
But thanks again for having me on, Brian, Marcus, Megan. It's always good to see you.
Consider this your home, Jake. This is your home, Chief. Consider it your home.
I'll try to keep the apologies to a minimum because, like I said, I try to be considerate of other people's, thoughts and all that stuff. It's just that's how my brain works. It's just I jump to that quickly. So.
All right. Well, we appreciate it, but just make sure you understand. Again, this is your home. You don't have to worry about all that kind of crap. So. We appreciate you being here. So you're always welcome here.
It's a pleasure being here. It's always we always have a good time.
Mr. Marcus, I worked late today. I'm tired and I am quiet all the time unless we're talking about sports. And by the way, Warrior and everybody else, I already told everybody before you got here, Marcus, that the Warriors are going to win in 6 games. It's not going to go to a game 7. Warriors will close it out. By the way, Draymond Green will show up and he will make sure that the defense is on point and the Warriors will win the 4th NBA championship.
Yeah, I'm kind of indifferent, but two things. So, I'm hoping that, maybe next week or whenever we can circle back around to the whole relationship. There's so many different facets of it. And, I shared a text with you and Trey about the whole loving day thing. So, I kind of want to touch on that a little bit. And then for next week, remind me, I took my daughter to the Hawaiian Falls Water Park this weekend, and I've got a story to share. So remind me that I've got a very stinky story to share.
Okay. All right. I'm not gonna forget. I'm not gonna forget. Megan, the first lady of Drinks and Discussions, what have you to say?
Well, first, I was curious. You've seen Devil's Advocate, right?
Devil's Advocate. Is that with Keanu Reeves?
Yeah,
Yeah, I've seen it.
I was just checking. But here's the movie I was going to suggest. You probably haven't seen it. If you're looking at this through Discord,
Sucker Punch.
Sucker Punch?
Sucker
Sucker-
Punch.
crazy trippy. If you don't want to see History of the World,
Might
but
have to check that out.
it's I saw it for the first time just a few months ago. It's a little on the crazy side. But Jake, I'm really glad that you're here. I hope that you get used to just being able to speak what you want to say, even if it's something you don't know. You know, it's communication's key. And if you want, I'll point out every time you say sorry. It worked on a friend of mine. You didn't realize how many times you said sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Put a counter up there.
I will adjust the Discord for all the sorries from Jake for next week.
But yeah, like I said before, I'm always open to learning about stuff. So if I ever say something and you guys are like, "Oh, hey, by the way," just I like to learn. So just and even if I go radio silent and I'm just sitting here looking like this, I'm listening to what you guys are saying so I can have a better understanding. You know what I mean? So
As
Absolutely.
long as you don't have Tucker Carlson there, we're good.
say what?
As long as you don't have the Tucker Carlson stare, you know, like.
Oh no, I'm either looking at my phone or I'm listening to. Like you probably saw a couple times. I pulled my headset off. I thought I heard someone knocking at my door. So
But listen real quick, Jake, and everybody else on the chat. We are not professionals. It's not like we sit up here and we sit there and go, "Hey, this is the dialogue that we have to say and the talking points that we have to say." Literally, in maybe an hour, maybe 2 hours, then I'll get on the call with Megan or even Trey and Marcus and go, "What do you guys want to talk about?" Literally, Megan and I talked like maybe 45 minutes or 15 minutes before and go, "What are we talking about?" And I'm like, we really don't have a lot to say. We get on here and we just say, let's riff it. Let's just see what we're going to talk about. That's it. So
Yeah.
we're not trying to silence you. We're not trying to tell you what you can talk about. You can sit there and say, "Brian, I don't agree with you." I'm never going to tell you because you disagree with me, Jake, that I'm going to say, "Don't come back on this channel, Jake," because you disagree with me. I want you to be forceful. I want you to tell me what you think and mean it when you say it. Authenticity is what I'm looking for. We're all looking for, not me. All of us are looking for authenticity. Don't fake it to make it. There's a
Yeah, I
joke.
mean,
fair enough.
you pass the controls over to me. Like, all right, Megan's gonna. I didn't know the topic until I started. Literally, I was like, "Oh shit!" But and yes, Fluffy, I can talk the birds out of the trees. All I gotta do is.
I had a Megan joke. I had a Megan joke too, but I'm not gonna say it. But that's okay.
Oh, come on!
Too late. Too late. It's
No,
over.
it's not.
It's
No.
always too late.
You get to.
Jokes are all about timing. Jokes are all about timing.
That's true. All right. Well, with that being said, final words, Brian.
I thank everyone. Thank Marcus, Jake, Trey. I even know I don't know where what was firefighter. What's his name?
Freedom Fighter.
Freedom Fighter. I don't know why he wasn't able to get on the stream. I appreciate everybody for just coming over here just to kind of see what we're talking about. We don't talk about a whole lot. We just want to talk about things that just matter to people, and that's it. We're not here to make fun of people. Again, I keep saying the same thing over and over. This is a peaceful area, and I hope everybody feels that they're welcome. And if we feel welcome, and you feel like you can just like let everything else go when you've seen us on other channels, and you can come over here and feel comfortable, we've done our job. And that's all I'm about. It's just peace and harmony, and maybe we can all learn something from each other at the end of the day. Because I can learn a lot from Jake, Marcus, definitely from Megan, and a whole lot of other people in the chat. So I appreciate you guys for teaching me a lot of things throughout the night. We have gone. It's been 3 hours, folks, and it didn't seem like that way. But I appreciate every one of you guys for paying attention for our little stream that we did.
3.5 hours.
Absolutely.
Yeah, 3.5 hours. See, Megan is like a
Hey.
woman. She always got to correct me. Everything it's like I say 3 hours. It's 3.5 hours, Brian. I'm like, God dang.
You've gone.
I'm buzzed when you're having fun.
I appreciate you
Yeah.
guys. Megan, send us out. Send us out. The last word. Let's go.
Good night, everybody.